Alrighty. Should be good to get started here. Just buying one last thing. Then I think I have everything I need. Unless I forgot something, which is very, very likely. But that's why I bought a billion different bases, because even if I forgot one thing, I'm sure I will be able to compensate by just crafting other stuff. The general idea today is crafting demonstration. Make a bunch of items. Explain how I made them so you can make them for yourself. I've got a bunch of Stygian vises. I've got some more Stygian vises. I've got fractured suppressed bases, fractured quivers. These are just all things that are well-known and or popular this league, and I think I only needed 2 Finable Plague Arachnids. I guess one of the first things to do is these influence Stygian vises. I bought the cheapest influence. What's it called? Reforge, not reroll. So randomize influence costs 1,000 blue essence, so about 20 C. And Hunter is exactly what you want. I don't know if Elder is what you want. And I just go through and I do all of these. Then I price check them. So I know the Hunters are good. I can put those aside. I have to price check Warlord and Elder. It's just a Stygian Vice with has Elder influence. Item level 84 plus, not corrupted, not mirrored. Is worth 70 C, which is not particularly good. Means not too many people are crafting on those. And the Warlord one's not worth much either. So now we go again, Redeemer. It can be easier if you need just a specific one to buy it. Because remember, this is about 20 C every attempt. Welcome. Where's the Honkai Star Rail stream? Probably tomorrow. And probably over on Twitch. Has Shaper influence. I bet that one will be worth crafting. Yep. Actually, maybe not. Seems like aside of Hunter, they're really not very expensive at the moment. And of course, as you go through, it can get pricey. So this is not necessarily the best way to get these. It honestly might have been cheaper rather than using one Divine in Essence to just buy them all manually. Though, that said, it's a 1 in 5 if you hit a specific thing. It's a 2 in 5 if you hit multiple things. And let's do a little bit of math here. Oh, grats. Hopefully it elevated this time. Is everyone playing Star Rail getting paid to do so? I'm playing Star Rail and I'm not paid to do so. I don't know about anyone else. So 14 is 1.4 divines. So that's about 320 chaos. So that's 520 chaos total. Minus 200 on the Shaper belt. So that's 320. What's 0.8? 184. So 320 minus 184 3 times. So I saved about a divine. Now, if I wanted to roll this to just specifically Hunter, which I kind of do in this case, as you can see, it gets much more expensive. And probably isn't worth it. Because now I've used 2.5 divines in essence. Or in life force. However, if you have 2 good outcomes that you can accept, it is almost always worth it. But 0.8 times 230 times 5 is 920 chaos. And I still honestly broke even. As weird as that sounds. In fact, I came out by 145C ahead in profit rolling these 5. That said, was it worth it? I would still say no if you're going for one specific outcome, just because you can get unlucky. And as you saw, it took quite a lot to hit it 2 more times. Given that Genshin Impact is legitimately one of the biggest PC games to release cross-platform, I would say it is unsurprising the amount of attention that it has gotten. Something else you can do, if you have really valuable bases like these, you can start by qualitying them up. You always want to quality valuable bases up. These are, I think, half a divine each, so they're pretty darn valuable. 26 is okay, but I'd prefer a little higher, though I don't know that I want to buy more of these fossils, so I will probably just accept whatever. Ooh, 29's good. 25, 22, 29. Okay. See if I can hit something good in 5. 28, cool. Then you go over to your menagerie. Oh no, I don't have one. All right, I need to buy one more. You can split beast it. This will effectively copy the base, and should only be done when the base is worth more than the split beast, which in the case of these bases, absolutely are. Oh, grats. Also, my loot filter is apparently too strict. That should absolutely be showing up on my filter. I don't know why it isn't with 100% base perfection.
First ones are watching.
Okay, so I need to go buy another Phenumal Plague Arachnid.
The ritual is complete.
And sometimes it goes to a magic item. Let's see. Oh, right. People are... God damn it. Why are people pricing things in Awakened Sextants? I don't want to deal with that nonsense. Just price things in chaos like a normal human being, please. There we go. I mean, it's better, I think, to be lucky with the claw than the boots. Where's the Petrified Blood Aura? So the Petrified Blood Aura became Arctic Armor instead. Because I got tired of having to hit my life flask so often. The Petrified Blood version is tankier, but I hate hitting buttons every 5 seconds. So there's no more Petrified Blood Aura. Do people really actually do those trades? Because it wouldn't surprise me if people weren't doing them. I'm certainly not doing them. I'm just ignoring all the sextant listings, assuming they're a scam. Yes, I do divine. That is correct. I am sponsored by GNC. And using my link that is pinned up at the top of a stream, you can get 15% off with code TENKIEI15.
The first ones are watching, Survivor. Don't disappoint them. The ritual is complete.
Well, it's good to know that there's a slight flaw in my loot filter that I'm probably just going to forget about and not fix. And people wonder why I don't give my loot filters out. GNC is General Nutrition Company. So they make things like supplements. They make a bunch of protein-related snacks, bars, chips, etc. They have energy drinks if you're into that. And I think they have a few more products as well. I'm more familiar with their gaming line of stuff rather than their full product listing. I can't promise they will make you better at PoE, but they do have vitamins, yes. Right. And so now I've made all of these. You will notice that the quality is retained through the split, meaning you have to spend half as much to quality up the bases when doing it this way. All right, so now that we have all of this stuff, what do you want to see first? Do you want to see some shield crafting? Some, let's say, ward gear crafting? Some quiver crafting? Glove crafting? Boot crafting? Belt crafting? Or other belt crafting? Let me know in the chat which you want to see. And in terms of, do I use things? Not yet, though I'm hoping to soon. Still working on, hopefully, getting some stuff to give my opinion on. See, I like how the first three answers are three different things. I cannot do +1 frenzy to a shield implicit. That is just you press the Beastcraft button over and over and over again until you get lucky. You know, I should have done a poll or something. Because we've got 2 for boots, 2.5 for belts. Wait, no, that's just 2 for belts. 2 for ward. 1 for shield. So when you say you can't afford good fractured bases, some of these are dirt cheap. Yeah, I'm gonna do a poll. That's a good point here. I can do a straw poll. Create poll. Option 1. Belts. Influence belts. Boots. Gloves. Quiver. Shield. Word gear. Okay, and hopefully I'll be able to link this. Here's hoping that straw poll doesn't get blocked. Also, some of these requests do not apply to the things that I have here. Oh, hey, MBX, welcome. A mana recovery rate rare Stygian. That's really easy to do by accident and really hard to do intentionally. Because, as I remember, the only modifier that affects that is lucent fossils. Though, I do believe that these belts that I'm going to be crafting, I was planning to use fossils for that. And if so, it is pretty likely to hit flask suffixes. And you end up with a result somewhat like this sometimes. Which is probably one of the better ways to do it. If I had to guess, it would be pristine plus lucent. Yeah, what I can do, I tried to get a very wide variety of bases here. There's still some things that I can't do, like minion +1. I can't do that because I don't have any minion shields, which isn't so much an intentional choice on my part as a bunch of people just didn't sell me the minion shields and sold me the other shields. Yeah, if Rog had Stygians, my god. That would be so OP. Now that, if Rog could do Stygians. All right, I'm going to give it just another minute here. Looks like right now, gloves are the least popular, so we'll probably save those towards the end. Also, I bought a bunch of bases. I'm probably not going to craft all of them on stream because that would get really long and kind of repetitive. Ooh, Crucible trees. You know what? While we're waiting, I can talk about mine. So I redid a Crucible tree for this weapon here. I got Lightning Dispels, Elemental Overload, and Increased Poison Duration. With a downside of Poison Duration on you, so I just put Anti-Poison on my flask. And then I have this really neat Atziri's Reflection. Use the poll to vote. I'm going to be tallying up the votes in just a minute. There's a straw poll right above. So then 80 life, which is awesome. This just kind of restores the ES. I don't care about the evasion. And 100% chance to avoid being shocked, which is really cool because then you can enable Storm Shroud with one item. 100 divines for Crucible tree. Oh, that is brutal. Admittedly, I've never gone for perfect Crucible trees. For this, I was hoping to get a 4th mod, and I might recraft this soon to put either Proj Speed or Chaos Dot Multi here. But I don't really go for perfect. What exactly do you want on it, MBX? Because if I can craft it on the bases that I have, maybe, but I don't know that I can. Also, I have to look up what influence. Mana recovery rate, I don't think I have that right. But off the top of my head, I feel like it's Lucent Fossils, which is unfortunate. Oh. So, pro tip, if you're going to go to PoEDB and look for mods, you don't type in PoEDB/mods, you do PoEDB/modifiers. I was like, why can I not find this? It should be there. Why is the site down? Well, no, I'm just... Oh, and you split it. I mean... Yeah, okay. Oh, the chaining range is nice. Crackling Lance gains added cold equal to 12%. Oh, I see. That is a very neat Crucible tree. I can see why that costs so much. Are you going Ignite, or is the burning damage accidental on that? Yes, 100 divines for one nearly perfect item. I say nearly perfect because the tree is perfect, and I don't know if the item is quite perfect since we have T2 mana here. Still really, really, really good. That is a very cool Crucible tree. Yeah, the chaining range is very nice. So mana recovery rate is a Shaper suffix, or I'm going to guess Crusader. It's Crusader or Redeemer for the other one, isn't it? No, it's not Crusader or Redeemer. But it's resource mana tagged. And so if all you need is... Okay, that makes sense. If all you need is just for mana recovery rate, then it would probably be some sort of Awakener Orb fix prefixes later thing, since you'd want mana. If you need recovery rate and something else, I guess, oh, it's Redeemer, right. The other option would be Lucent Fossils. But for now, Influence Belt's 1. And I have Hunter Stygian Vises, so that's what I'm going to start with. Crafts on a Hunter Stygian Vise. There's one very simple craft, which you can do, which I think I will start with. I think I have the fossils to do it. Oh, I might not have the resonators. Okay. Let's see how many resonators I can afford here. I'm just going to buy all that I can with my Azurite. Be a decent number. It's like a divine worth. This will last all of 3 minutes. Best case scenario, life, mana, 4 times flask mods. Oh, that is a brutal one. Because the best way to get the flask mods is to block life and defenses. Oh, that's tough. I'm tempted to say no elemental, which would be corroded fossil. Lucent fossil for encouraging mana. And then I don't know if the answer is pristine or not, but some combination with lucent corroded probably gets you the most reliable results. But where's the fun in brute forcing optimization on Craft of Exile? I would much rather guess at this than just go look up the answer. Because I can go look up the answer. Crafting guide for dummies. For specific things, I have several guides. Broadly, for all types of crafting, I don't really know of any, because how you engage with the systems kind of depends on what you are trying to craft. And yeah, that's the thing, Ilya. I'm not guessing because I have to. I'm guessing because I want to. Right. I need to spend some of my divines. Yes, it is for fun. So that's why you don't want to do 2 specific mods. It's always going to be prohibitive for those 2 mods specifically. Oh no! Oh no! It's absolutely worth checking before you actually spend money. 100%. So we've got a nice Stygian vise here. And let's say you wanted something with... Oh, fuck. I don't think I can just ignore this. So I was going to say, let's say you wanted something nice with life and other suffixes. T1 attributes. I don't think by itself this is good enough. I need to annul off the stun block. Always be unafraid to annul stuff. And it's dead. Cool. That means we get to go on to the other crafting method now. That'll happen a lot. You can absolutely make money exclusively from crafting, using a lot of the ideas behind what I'm going to do now. What I'm doing with this is I'm using pristine fossils for more life modifiers and no defensive modifiers. These belts will not roll armor, and they will not roll energy shield, because those are defensive prefixes. They are likely to roll plus to maximum life and life regeneration rate. Because it has hunter influence, it is also likely to roll increased maximum life. What this does is it makes it a very desirable item for Righteous Fire Jug. And I just want to roll until I get a good combo. Oh, increased flask life recovery rate is also a fairly decent mod, since a lot of Pathfinders are reliant on flask life recovery. And that was easy. I already hit something that is very, very usable. T1 resistance, fire res, cast speed during any flask effect, double life. Unfortunately, a lot of Pathfinders do need the flask charge mods on belt. Otherwise, I would be sorely tempted to use this myself. It is not always this easy. And I'm just going to put that aside for now and do another one, because I was hoping to have a few more rolls and demonstrate this. And I hit the sellable kind of decent item way too quickly there, which that happens sometimes. So let's try again, and hopefully we hit it a little more slowly. Best kind of belt for cast on crit, Forbidden Rite until Mageblood. Probably a Shaper belt for increased cooldown recovery, and then Crusader for either percent ES prefix or ES recovery suffix. No, definitely percent ES prefix. You slam those together. I do not think recombinators should be brought back without being severely reworked. So hopefully they'll be reworked and brought back. But as they were, they overlapped too much with existing crafting methods. If they were the best way to get multiple untagged modifiers, but a poor way to get multiple tagged modifiers, I think they'd be in a really good spot. You don't want severe overlap in your crafting systems, though, because then one just becomes a better version of another. So here, T1 life, which is good, T2 res, which is good. This looks impressive. It is kind of garbage. If you have the boots already, I forget the numbers on that. If you hit the 52% threshold without the belt and you can't rework your gear in a different way to gain more damage, then never mind, just go with a pure ES belt. But I forget off the top of my head what the permutations of that are. You'll notice the flask life recovery rate is coming up a lot. They do have overlap with essences, and that's why I think they should be reworked rather than just reintroduced as is. Now, if there's some sort of compromise, like they're the best at untagged modifiers and they can combine multiple essence modifiers, but they're poor at targeting specific mods outside of that, that's where I think they'd be in a healthy space. Remember I said this encourages life modifiers? It doesn't guarantee them. You're seeing very few life modifiers here. It doesn't guarantee tiers. It just encourages. And this is more typical. I would rework the weightings. I would have them be better at preserving modifiers that cannot naturally roll, and better at preserving modifiers without other craftable tags, and poorer at preserving things with craftable tags. I don't think Overwhelm is useful, unfortunately. Another really interesting life regen roll, but not enough elsewhere. Chaos Res is nice. Not quite good enough. Very close, though. Flask mana recovery rate. Kind of what MBX wanted, but kind of not. There's a difference between flask mana recovery rate and mana recovery rate. Why don't I harvest craft life on it? Because that forces one life mod and does not encourage multiple life mods. I'm trying to hit multiple life mods. The only way to do 50 chaos res while any flask is in use is essence spamming, because that's an essence specific modifier. So you'd have to spam essences until you hit one of the other flask suffixes, which unfortunately is very high variance. There's very little way to control for options there. And it is Essence of Delirium. Reforge X more likely was genuinely a terrible craft for the game. Remember how I said crafting systems shouldn't overlap because then one does a different one's job better? Reforge X more likely was better fossils. And that is why it was terrible for the game and shouldn't have stuck around. So I'm glad it didn't. Close. What do you mean by only on the harvest tagged? No. You would be surprised as to how many mods that could target indirectly. I think hatred is a very strong feeling to have towards something like essences. Ooh, now this is an interesting one. Because we've got a rare flask mod. Flasks applied to you have 12% increased effect and T1 life regen. Hey, welcome back, Krendor, and enjoy your shiny new badge. Thank you very much for the support. The other thing you have to remember, though, Ilya, is the non-modifiers as well that let you target some interesting things. All right, so I want to craft strength on it now. And I slam it. Easy money. That is how you make that belt way better. Just slam a T1 res suffix. From here, you craft dual resistance, and it's pretty much good to go. And sure, that wasn't the guaranteed outcome. Wouldn't happen every time. It is absolutely worth it because it will happen probably 1 in 15, 1 in 20 times, and it pays out 100-fold the value of the Exalt you used to slam. Then for this item, cast speed during flask effect, we've got suffix, suffix, prefix, prefix. You could either craft a prefix here, slam a suffix, or craft a suffix, slam a prefix. I'm just going to craft a suffix and leave it to the owner of a belt to decide if they want to put the prefix on. Aspect of a cat is a bestiary thing. It adds a suffix to the item. It does not modify the item in any other way. All right, gonna do at least one more of these right now. Ooh, flask charges gained is a neat mod to have. You do not need Feral's Fur to use Aspect of a Cat. That is not true. There's strong synergy with it, but you don't need it. 5,161. Oh, God. So what happens if you run the Fossil Optimizer and go up to 4-socket resonators? Because I wouldn't be surprised if 4-socket resonators were the answer here. Especially if you have a little flexibility in suffixes. I mean, it probably still is cheaper than the Crucible tree. I can't help but feel like there's a more optimal way to do it, though. Ooh. 2 good prefixes. And 0 good suffixes. I bet what you could do here is do prefixes can't be changed, veiled chaos. Which would be an interesting little experiment, but I want to quickly double check. If it's actually worth investing that much into it, because it might not be. So what is 100-ish life, 7% increased maximum, which is a breakpoint that people look for. 7% and 10% are the 2 breakpoints people care about. So in theory, if I wanted to make this as sellable as possible, I might even want to divine it. That ultimately comes down to how much this is worth pre or post divine. Since the odds are what? It has to hit 9 or 10, so 50-50, because it's 7, 8, 9, 10 equally weighted. Oh. 3 stats. That's brutal. Okay, here's the question. What if you don't roll on influence belts? And what if you try to slam the recovery rate with Redeemer's Exalt afterwards? Because it's only roughly a 1 in 5 to slam it with a Redeemer Exalt. And it could actually be better to make the belt minus the increased mana recovery rate mod. Oh, I guess it's a 1 in 10 for the T1. So you make it with 2 stats minus the recovery mod, and then slam the recovery mod with Redeemer Exalt on 1 belt in 10, and hopefully sell all of the others. Which, to be fair, some of the other outcomes are things like projectile attack damage and attack speed, which could very well be sold to Pathfinders. And let's just pretend that we end up getting 60 total res. And it looks like at 60 total res for a belt like this, with nothing else special on it, it's about 3 divines, which is about what it would cost to make this item, aka not particularly good. But what if you hit chaos res as part of that? Well, if you hit chaos res as part of that, even a fairly low tier chaos res, like from a hybrid chaos res roll, there are only 5 online and the cheapest is 12 divines. So for the sake of demonstration, I'm still going to do this, and I'm going to hope that it goes well for me, and that I can sell it later for at least 4 to 6 divines. I should probably set the chaos res to 15. Oh, that doesn't change anything. All right. If anything, this is more for science, but prefixes cannot be changed for 2 divines. Now, I grab out a Veiled Chaos. I do this so I don't ever accidentally double-click or something. Yes, video tomorrow for the new build. And there we go. Next up, I want to block something, and I forget what I want to block. Craft of Exile or PoEDB is the best place to look. I usually use PoEDB because it shows all the weights. And for Veiled Suffixes, you just want the highest weight thing that is not useful to you, which in my case is either increased cooldown recovery rate. Wait, increased cooldown recovery rate would theoretically be useful because of Doom Blast. Regenerate Energy Shield probably isn't useful, though. Damn it, I don't have it. All right. I'm going to block cooldown anyway. And I come over to Jun.
Thanks to your hard work.
Unveil item. There we go. Lightning and Chaos Res. I don't think Dex and Int is right. If it was Strength and Int, I would very much consider it, because a lot of builds are high in Dexterity, lacking in Strength and Intelligence. Dex and Int is a little bit of a weird combo, because that is usually bottom of a tree builds, which probably won't want to wear this. But I'm going to go for the Lightning and Chaos Res. Then I'm going to block Strength, like this, and that's right, I slam it. I'm hoping, honestly, for a resistance, maybe life regen, not stun block recovery. Really, it's anything but stun block recovery. Oh, sorry, reduced enemy stun threshold. That was the garbage mod that I was trying to avoid. And of course, I hit it. But cold and chaos res. So that's 30% total chaos res, 30% total Ellie res. Did I hit something profitable? And that's the thing about what I just did. It is not always profitable. Looks like there's similar belts for sale with similar resistances for about 3.5 divines. Was it profitable? Not really, but I didn't lose money either. I basically just broke even. If I was crafting this for myself, I would probably keep going, try again, do another prefixes can't be changed, spend another 2 divines, hope to hit something good. But since I have 5 belts here, I'm pretty happy to just sell it as is. And then for the others, 80 to maximum life. 40, 80 to total resistances. And then flasks applied to you. Have, let's go 10% increased effect. Without the life regen, we're looking at 1 divine, which is not particularly good. Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot that there's a veiled modifier. Sometimes when you search stuff, veiled modifiers will interfere. There's one with reduced flask charges gain increased flask effect. Small question. How do you make the GG minion Shaper Shield that Balor made? +1 minion damage, and recover life on block. Do you spam life fossils and pray? Off the top of my head, I would guess that it's pristine plus bound. But that sounds incredibly expensive. And honestly, I'd probably go with Aegis Aurora over that. And second league, deep into SSF on Bone Shadow, looking to craft a Royal Burgeonet with life rolls and no res. The best way to craft just life rolls is Rog. Because Rog can upgrade prefixes. And no, I'm not looking for an upgrade. This is more of just a general crafting demonstration. So these are items that might be an upgrade for someone, might be just a profit craft. All right, so after redoing the pricing on this to remove the reduced flask charges gained stuff, the price almost immediately jumps to about 2 divines. That's without life regenerated per second. Life regenerated per second is a really nice thing because rage builds use it and also RF jugs use it. So I'm going to kind of YOLO this price. There are basically none up with similar stats. Even if I go down to as low as 60 life regen, there's none up. So I'm just going to YOLO it up for 12 divines and see if anyone bites, and lower it after a couple of days. On an item that Rog lets you work on. But something like a Royal Burgeonet without influence is very easy to get as a base from Rog. And I'm not sure of a question there, Sneaky Fox. Then for the other one, it's 80% res, double life. I'm not going to include the cast speed during Flask Effect yet, because that's a pretty rare thing. So just the double life and res is already 3 or 4 divines. Cast speed during any Flask Effect, there are, of course, none for sale. So I'm going to YOLO it up for 8 divines and see if someone buys it. You can modify unique Crucible trees with crystalline geodes. Something like this contains a forge that can combine Crucible passive trees, including unique and corrupted items. Also, this looks pretty runnable, actually. Yeah, crystalline geodes are what you need for primordial remnants. All right, I've got a few more fossils. I'm going to throw these at a random belt here. Probably won't hit much, but that's fine. Very close, actually. Very close. A lot of builds want the cast speed. Okay. That last one's interesting. The suffixes are bad, so this might be a redo suffixes kind of thing, but the prefixes are very good. For now, though, the next most popular option was boots. So I'm going to grab a couple of these, and we're going to have some fun with this, because it's time to move on to essences. And there's 2 types that I want to use here, one of which I don't have any of. All right, so I'll use the one that I do have some of, which is Essence of Rage, to try to make Omni Boots. The goal for this is suppress plus dex plus strength. And I only really care about the suffixes. Though, this is a really interesting one, because I've got good suffix, good prefix, bad prefix. Which is where you go over to your menagerie. And this is a step where I see a lot of people mess up when they're crafting for themselves. They get something that is potentially really good, but not perfect for their purpose, and so they just throw it away. It is entirely possible that I remove the life here and brick it. And if so, that's whatever. That's exactly what happened. But it was worth the try, because the cost was very low. The cost was like 2 essences worth to do suffix to prefix. Oh, there we go. It's Dex. Not good enough, though. So let's try again. And if I get something else really good, like this, it's worth considering. Would this sell as is with the T6 lightning res? I don't think so. But it's always worth stopping on stuff like that just to think about it. There we go. I hit Essence Strength, T1 Dex, Suppress. Next up, do I have... No, I don't. So I have to buy a beast. We're going to buy a Wild Bristle Matron. Wild Bristle Matron adds a crafted metamod. There's only one crafted metamod that is a prefix, which is suffixes can't be changed. So this is essentially a 1.1 or 1.2 divine, suffixes can't be changed, as opposed to a 2 divine, suffixes can't be changed. And this is going to be a good example of Omni boots. There's a few other types of boots that we can craft, which I'll probably do next. Though the base method is honestly the same. It's just what you look out for. Wait, I can go back to the menagerie from here. What you look out for is a little different. So here we go. And meta crafted modifier. You get it from the harvest memories. They are, I think, Nico memories, but maybe they're Einhar memories. I forget. Do I have one? I think I have one. Wait, where did I put it? Don't mind how messy my tabs are. Is this one? Nope, that is not one. I could have sworn I had one. Oh, wait. I have a bunch in here. Never mind, I don't have one. Okay, so we've got suffixes can't be changed. The good thing about this is it is not a craft that can ever brick. The worst case, you can always fix it, because what you can do is Eldritch Craft to erase prefixes and open up affixes. So worst case, you do waste a Wild Bristle Matron, but it will never fail and completely brick your item.
Thanks to you. Keep your eyes sharp.
Wait. And so blocking mana here.
Blessings.
Then Unveil for any movement speed, like this.
Blessings.
Then Craft Life, like that. Hit 70 every time. First try, every try. And just for fun, I'm going to demonstrate what you can do with Eldritch currencies. So if you ever want to modify just one of the affixes on something, you can dominate it with an Eldritch Influence. In this case, it's Searing Exarch. So if a Searing Exarch is dominant, add a prefix modifier. This is an exalt that only affects the prefixes of this item. Like that. I got evasion rating. Not particularly helpful, but hey, a good demonstration nonetheless. And now I'm just going to quality it up. And let's see how much this is worth. I'm going to put the spare essences away for now. These are Omni boots. So that means you want to use a weighted sum search. to get at least 100 total attributes. Because Omni builds don't care what it is. They only care that it's attributes. So you just put in weighted sum 100, weights 1 for each. And then for the rest, suppress. 13 is the minimum, so 13 for T1. Movement speed, life. The 12% doesn't really matter, or the 12% if you haven't been hit. It's nice, but it's not onslaught. Onslaught is the most desirable. And 70 life, 26% move speed. And these are a 3 to 4 divine pair of boots. If you want to make them a little shinier, you can use a few of these. Look for something that an Omni build might use. CDR, probably not too helpful, at least not unless you're on ward. Poisons deal damage faster. Still not too helpful. You don't really see poison Omni builds. High armor boots with res, exactly the same way I just crafted. You care about base percent if the end buyer will care about base percent. So in the case of Omni, no, you don't care. I have a video on how to set up trade searches that goes over how to set up a weighted search, among other things. But it's just weighted sum filter, and you put in your weights. You put in your total. The base was about 50C, except for this one, which is more valuable that I got as a drop. 50 to 70C. The Wild Bristle Matron 1.2 and the Essence Spam under 1. So you're looking at turning 2 Divines into 3 to 4. And that is with a non-ideal end result. You know, I haven't been paying close enough attention to what I'm clicking here, which is kind of bad. I'm looking for movement speed or action speed on one of these, and I genuinely forget what I was looking for on the other. Effective Onslaught. You know what? A lot of Omni builds are on Raider, and we'll absolutely use that. Chance to avoid elemental ailments. Base percent increases the defenses on the item. Cooldown recovery, stun threshold. Avoid life regenerate. Avoid being poisoned. It is not being super cooperative here. Oh, wait, God damn it, I was looking for cooldown of travel skills and I rolled right over it. That's unfortunate. You know, I'm just going to leave it like this. And I'm going to put it up for 4.9. Just to see if it sells for 4.9. Speaking of avoidance boots, though, that is another archetype of boot that a lot of builds use, which means it is worth your time to craft. That is crafted with Essence of Loathing. I already hit a T1 res. So this would be totally usable as is. I can factor that in by just doing a search for how much would this sell for? Of course, at this point in the league, might not be a ton. Oh, no, never mind. Something like 7 divines are the cheapest. So, yeah. Gonna definitely do that. Can also roll, not only can, but should roll this to get something good. Like 5% increased movement speed. Perfect. And then it's back to our old friend, the Wild Bristle Matron. It should be noted, when I'm pricing these out randomly, I am pricing them towards the high end. I don't actually expect most of these to sell for the prices that I'm putting down initially, but my preferred strategy for selling items is to price them high at first and then lower them. So if I expect this will sell for about 4 divines, I'm going to try for 5 because there are quite a few listed for 5+. If this I think will sell for 3, I'll try 3.4. If this I think will sell for 6, I'll try 12. If this I think will sell for 4, I'll try 8. Because you never know, especially for things like this where there aren't many alternatives. And I'm actually going to put these boots back for now. There we go. Wild Bristle Matron. Gonna do this. In theory, if you were like broke and this was League start, you could just craft movement speed on this, not need the Wild Bristle Matron at all, and have a very sellable pair of boots. But it's not early League, and I'm not broke. At least not yet. By the end of the stream, I may very well be broke.
You are truly a survivor.
At least that's kind of sort of the goal. Spend all my currency crafting to demonstrate how it works. Like so. Now we go block and unveil.
Thanks.
Wait,
Warm
I didn't.
nights.
God damn it, I've done that twice now where I went to do it without blocking, which is bad. Don't do
Exile.
that. Movement speed if you haven't been hit recently. Perfect. And it's 30%, which means 35 total, which is really good. 67. So I might have to adjust. You know, it's probably more economical to roll this until I get 70. Because 70 is a number that people will search for. And when it comes to that, it's always better to go for numbers people search for. I have to be really careful to not roll over it if I go fast, because I will absolutely roll over it. I guess chance scouring's a thing, but it still feels like I'm playing with pennies there. And now I put Exarch on for Elia Void. Of course, now I hit the cooldown recovery of travel skills. Elusive effect, poison. Gen Cry. Wait, why could the operation not be completed? Please stop lagging, PoE. That happens when PoE is lagging. Poisoned. Increased cooldown. That's an interesting one. So selling multi-modded items often works well because the buyer has a specific end item in mind for their build, which you have already crafted. So let's say I'm selling a Righteous Fire weapon with Fractured Fire Dot multi and +1 fire skills plus minion damage. I might as well multi-mod that because there's going to be a huge market for Righteous Fire weapons that I can sell to. Now, if I'm playing some sort of, or crafting for some sort of really niche thing, that's when selling it multi-modded doesn't make as much sense because it might actually lower the value. But people aren't going to search based on, oh, I want a crafting base. People are going to search based on, oh, I want a finished item. Which is also why we waste copious amounts of Eldritch currency to do things like this. And put it up for 6.9 divines. Now, because essences are dirt cheap, there's another thing you can do, which I'm going to do next. which is just kind of spam until you get a decent item, almost as if you were chaos spamming. Oh, it's close. If that dex was higher tier, that would be a perfect example. Because, see, with T1 life, I don't have to do the wild bristle matron trick. You know what? Let's try it. No, it's dead. It was a 1 in 4, though, so not that bad. T1 fire res. And if you got something like this early league, just as an example, one thing you can do is this, and then this. Oh, and hit it in 1. There you go. So as an early league craft, this is kind of OP, because very often the bases will be super cheap and the Eldritch currency will be super, super cheap. And even 60-ish life is totally fine, because remember, you're competing against crafted life, which only goes up to 70, and a lot of people roll in the 60 range. Yes, you can divine. So you roll something like this. Maybe if you're feeling spicy, you slam it. Get that last prefix going. You know, hit cool evasion rating. Throw a couple of things at it. Yep, equal amount of vol orbs. Life regeneration, avoid being... Oh, God damn it. I should actually have done avoid being shocked there. I rolled right over it. Action speed. You know what? We're keeping the action speed. That's fine. What do I even want here? Not elusive effect, that's for sure. Probably not life regeneration rate either. One big thing with this is envisioning who is going to use the finished item. You know what? Poisons, action speed. This seems like something someone would use. What's the price on it, though? And the other thing to remember, the more specialized the item, the less the market of buyers, but the more specialized the item, the higher the price generally. At least assuming there is, in fact, a market for it. If there's no market for your item, then the price doesn't matter. And so this much cheaper variant looks like we're seeing a bunch in the range of 4 divines with different permutations of value. There are quite a few if a poison deals damage faster, which is really nice to know. That means that was a good choice. I'm just going to put it up for 3.9 divines and see if anyone bites, because mine is a little bit nicer than most of the ones up for this amount. They don't have the hybrid onslaught. Actually, the hybrid onslaught is 6. That's T1 life. You know what? Let's try 4.9 divines. Again, a little high, but you never know. The onslaught is just at the crafting bench. So the next most popular thing was shields. And there's 2 different ways. I think I got 2 bases for shields, or 2 different base types for shields, I should say. And I'll do both of these. The first is a blocking fossil combination. The goal of the blocking fossil combination is to remove as many modifiers as possible from the end result item. So we're going scorched in this case because we want to roll fire mods. We're going dense because we do not want to roll life mods. It already has life mods. And we're going pristine because we don't want to roll ES mods. The goal is fire damage and fire res and fire gems. And in the first case, I hit spell damage. Jewel crafting is way too broad. What sort of jewel are you trying to make? Lightning damage, kind of eh. Fire damage, good, but really low tier. Here we go. Fire damage, all fire skill gems, fire res. Perfectly usable starter RF shield. The base for this cost like 10 chaos orbs. The fossils I just used, maybe another 20. I got a little lucky. I think the average on Craft of Exile's like 15 to 20. But it's pretty consistent to make very mid-tier items like this. A mid-tier item like this is probably going to be worth close to a divine if you're just selling it on the market, given how popular RF is. That's kind of the refusing to craft tax that a lot of people force on themselves and have been very unhappy about. But total life, 100. All fire. Fire damage. And total res. Oh yeah, I can also slam a suffix on here, right? Yeah, I can slam a suffix. You could either do aspect of a spider. You know what? That's kind of fun. I bet we can do aspect of a spider for fun here. But just as is, if I had exactly these modifiers, apparently there aren't very many for sale, which is interesting. Because the cheapest is 8 divines, and this was not 8 divines worth of effort. At all. If I lower the parameters a little bit, it's still... Oh god, am I going to find out that this is just disgustingly profitable? Oh no. I guess they're way better. So I'll probably ask for 7, but... It's weird that it's that expensive. Why 0.9 divines? Because it shows up first. Because there's going to be like 20 listings. And it shows up first. No, Anax. The Onslaught mod is way more important for a lot of builds than 30 move speed. And Onslaught plus 30 move speed is significantly more expensive. If you're trying to hit a basic jewel, Crimson, elemental res attack speed, melee damage, max life, that is prefix, suffix, suffix. If melee damage is a prefix, that works. The best way to hit something like that is to buy it. The second best way is to use ROG, and the third best way is to buy a fractured jewel and craft it with either harvest or fossils and spend 3 times as much as buying it. Yeah, a lot of people can't craft, and that does explain the weird price inflation on RF, despite my best efforts to teach people how to craft, which I'm doing right now. Okay, so I don't have any for aspect of a spider. We're going to just use this and go fight Venomous quickly.
The ritual is complete.
This is Venomous's lair. As you'll probably notice from these, the most powerful thing to do here is combine multiple crafting methods. Crafting just one way is far less powerful than crafting 3 different ways and combining them. Oh no, I'm webbed. Okay, let's go. Goodbye, Mr. Spider, please. Hello. Thank you. Good job, Einhar. You did a thing. And now I should just be able to go. Spider. There we go. Aspect of a spider skill. Craft that as a suffix on the shield. I'm going to stand in the chaos bad stuff. Don't do that, by the way. There we go. Grants level 20 aspect of a spider. Put this up for 7 divines and see if anyone buys it. If they do, that's insanely profitable. The other crafting method, though, was to get +1 to all lightning spells. I guess I'm just going to throw this at another shield because I have it and I already socketed it. Cool. All right, you can go back and live over there. Yeah, that's why Harvest got nerfed, because you didn't need to combine crafting methods. You just used Harvest and it was automatically best. With very few exceptions. So I'm going just life here. Actually, wait. Oh, okay. I'm going to throw 1 at it, and then I have an even better idea for just a Giga GG shield that I'm going to hate myself to make. All right, who wants to see me suffer and get really angry? It is time to play the clicking game, where we click 1.5 billion times. Yay. Who else wants to play the clicking game? I love the clicking game. Yes, you can rewatch this. The full VOD version, once I hit end stream, will just go up as a regular YouTube video. That's why I do streams like this over here on YouTube as opposed to Twitch, so that they do stick around. You can rewatch them. You can always fast forward. On most of them, there are not chapters, but if anyone ever wants to add chapters, I'm certainly not going to say no. All right, I'm going to have it light up on the word maximum, because there's a couple of maximums that I would be okay with. And it won't trigger off of maximum life, because maximum life is a prefix, and right now I can only roll suffixes. I probably should have looked up how painful this was. But, you know, if I looked up how painful it was, I might not have bought the base. This is the sort of thing where I would absolutely not advise doing multiple times for your own health. Yeah. If you're wondering why sometimes the suffix just disappears, it's because it rolled a prefix. But it can't actually roll a prefix. So it's just a bunch of extra clicks for no real reason. Ooh, +2 to maximum. Oh, but it's not +3. Unfortunate. That was something that I might have tried to regal. Yeah, well, there's no time like the present to start. I have a great series introducing people to ROG. That's expedition crafting, which is much more simplified than this. And hopefully this is going to stick around as a testament to how to craft a wider variety of items. Good. That's the goal. That's the thing. People meme on the vision. The vision is not actually bad. This part of it sucks. But also this part of it needs to be in place because the item that I am trying to craft is incredibly rare and expensive. And by incredibly rare and expensive, I mean I looked up what good versions of this would go for. And we're talking like 40 divines. So just trying to casually make a 40 divine item, yeah, it kind of makes sense that it's going to suck. And knowing all of this is the competitive advantage in the market. All cold is not good because Aegis Aurora exists. That if you're going all cold, maximum fire with lightning doesn't work either. I want all max or chaos max. And even then, I'm pretty sure I just want all max. But if I hit chaos max, oh, we did it. We did it. Yay. And what do people want chance to avoid elemental ailments on boots for? To become ailment immune. You can get most of your immunity from boots, and then you can get the rest from, oh wait, what am I doing? Something like thick skin, or the, do I have it? I think I still have ancestral vision. Or ancestral vision. Now, the next step for this is we regal it. Okay, got a prefix. Prefix is bad. You do not want any prefixes for this next step. So, oh, nice. Congrats. I'm glad it worked out. Okay, I know I have lynxes because I did beast farming earlier and I saved them all because I knew I would use them. Those are tiger, those are frost hellion. Where are my lynxes? Wolf, wolf, wolf. Lynx, yes. There we go. I was like, I'm not selling these. I will 100% have to rebuy them later if I do. So now you could do minus prefix plus suffix. Before I do, though, I'm going to go and block a mod. Whenever you are crafting, you always want to block modifiers to reduce bad outcomes. Wait, can I put stun block recovery on here? Because that would be hilarious. But I don't think I can. I cannot, so I'm going to put int on instead. I'm playing Poison Spark. Yeah, that's Saferix why you don't want it, especially this league. You can get a Aegis Aurora with +5 cold and then another +4 for +9 total. And it would vastly outshine a shield like this defensively. Now, I'm removing a random prefix, which means it will either try to remove the Fractured Lightning Res, which it cannot do, or it will remove the increased energy shield, which it can do. In one case, it's a null with an upside, and in the other case, it's just kind of a shiny thing.
The ritual is complete.
Crit strike chance for spells. Okay, I will absolutely take that. Now, I have to think about what I'm doing next, because I have several options, and I'm going to come over here. I think I know what I'm going to do next. I think the next thing I'm going to do, because this is a high-end item, I want to add a new chaos modifier and remove a random modifier. What's my view on unique chancing this league? People who do it hate themselves. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on something like that because I'd never do it myself because it's way too many clicks. Do I have any blossoms? I might have some lying around. I do. Okay, we have to go fight a Shabi. The insanity tax, yes. And there are people who are insane enough to do it. I wish them luck. But I'm never going to do it myself.
Behold, the first
I don't know. Beyond that, I don't really have an opinion on it. I'll be honest. I don't know. If MBX was still around, he might have an opinion because he actually did it. But for me, quality of life is king. I would rather make a mirror or 2 mirrors or whatever the amount to get the thing than chance it myself. Okay, she's dead. Pop. What do you think, chat? Is this going to be a good or a bad Forbidden Shaco? Good or bad? Put your guesses in chat. Gonna do that in just a second. For now, where's my shield? Wait, where did I put it? Oh no. I put it somewhere. Wait, did I leave it in the menagerie? I can't remember where I put my shield. Oh god. Okay, we'll do it this way. Where did I put this thing? Okay, I didn't put it here. Wait. Oh, harvest bench. Duh. I left it in the harvest bench. Yes, thank you. Right. I also need to buy some life force. But first, money goes goodbye. Level 1 cruelty, level 32 inspiration. Okay, actually, maybe money doesn't go goodbye. That's actually something that people would use together. Is it good? I don't think so, but is it potentially usable? Yeah, I don't know. Random price. There's none online with, what about with just 32 inspiration? 40C? I don't know. 1.4 divines. If anyone wants it for 1.4 divines, congratulations, it's yours. Now I need more yellow essence. So I'm going to buy yellow essence. What do I have? Divine orb. What do I want? Vivid crystallized life force. This is the part that I generally would not advise most people do, because it is very expensive to do it this way for what is ultimately going to be a minimal payoff. Actually, you know what? Maybe we don't even do this part just because the payoff is that bad. Thinking about it more, because I was trying to be greedy and add plus chaos as a suffix. That is very greedy. Let's see. Tainted Divine Teardrops for semi-high-end craft. Yes, they can. However, I generally haven't talked about that because the market is such that most people won't be able to benefit from it. Another good example of this is Cluster Jewels, where they're insanely effective. But it's really you are spending 20 plus divines on this craft, and most people can't benefit from the knowledge, unfortunately. All right, so in this case, what I do, I'm not going to do that craft. Instead, I'm going to do the lightning one in just a minute, which I already have the life force for. First, I have to slam it again. I want any suffix. God damn it. No. No. Oh. All right. Just annul it off. That's actually okay. Just don't annul the max res. Cool. Let's try again. You know, T1 life regen I will take. Okay. %3 to all Ellie res. Nope. Okay, we try again. It's fine. It's fine. It's still good. Gonna have to buy more exalts soon. This is the pain of making items this good. Yes, except I couldn't block there. Always block when you have 2 open suffixes. I only had 1 open suffix. So if I blocked a suffix, it would just slam on a prefix. You can't imprint fractured items. But yes, if you wanted to spend the most money on crafting, that is how you would do it. Just don't get punished 3 times, chat. It's fine. Now I have to go buy exalts. Unless I'm remembering very wrong, you can't imprint fractures. Imprints cannot be applied to fractured or corrupted items. There we go. I was right. The Exalt Orb Slam is to fill the suffixes with usable things. I mean, I'm pretty sure reading the craft does explain what it does. It's just that I don't have a Krakik Cameral around here, I don't think. Yeah, I don't. So I don't have an item to read. Also, the fine print is important because that is what makes the crafting system work. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it says cannot imprint fractured or enchanted items. That's because in the past it was any magic item. And then GGG changed it because it was too powerful. Because I can always prefix to suffix. So I don't care about blocking a prefix to make it more likely to slam a suffix. I care about blocking a bad suffix. Oh, hey, there's someone who's a Kraken Chimeral expert. Yes, because of imprint regal split and a bunch of other really abusive things that shouldn't have existed in PoE. All right, so now we just slam it here. Bam. Okay, that's fine.
Well met.
We now go to the menagerie. Turn this into a suffix. Add a suffix, remove a random prefix. Again.
Prove to the first ones you are worthy, Exile.
You say imprint regal split made things affordable to plebs, but no, it didn't. It really didn't. Plus 10% to all elemental resistances. T4. Move crafted mod. Annul. It has survived yet again. This thing has survived so many annuls. That is a worrying sign that makes me think my luck is going to run out in a horrible way. Maximum mana. All right. Let's go back to the menagerie. I do not need an ironwood buckler, but thank you for the option. Okay, I need to click more linkses. Add a suffix, remove a random prefix.
Watching Survivor. Don't disappoint them. The ritual is complete.
Regenerate 2 life per second. It is not my day at the moment in terms of this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to null off the +2 all max here. It survived long enough. Or not. Crit strike chance for spells. It's T4, but honestly good enough in this case. That's a fringe mod that is useful, but not perfect. Oh. Okay. Well, I will actually take that. That's a really well-rounded combo. Now we go back to our good friend, the Wild Bristle Matron. Before I do this next part, I'm just going to double check that the thing that I think can roll, and it's only the thing that I think. It's going to be really dumb of me if I waste a bunch of currency trying to roll it multiple times. Okay, yes. The only prefix is +1 to all lightning skill gems. So this is a fully deterministic craft from this point. Yeah, I can't believe how many annuls it survived there. And obviously, you'd want T1 suffixes or really good suffixes if you were going for perfection. Is regen that good? Yes. Regen is used by a wide variety of builds. For example, rage builds are using it these days, which means it's much more popular than it used to be. And there's a lot of different both fizz, non-fizz, caster, attack. Oh, this isn't an RF shield. No RF player is ever going to use this. But a rage build could use it. Let's fix the implicit while we wait for... Oh. Oh no. 55,000. I remember the days of old Nemesis chancing. I don't think I've chanced any important uniques because I just can't stand the clicking. Clicking that much is not good for my sanity, and that's why my opinion on chancing it is, if you value your sanity, don't do it. All right. I will get one of these wild bristle matrons. Haha, this one. Yeah, some people do. Some people will sit there all day clicking and be paid very handsomely to do so. Shaper Elder Doomfletch. You know, 1,500 isn't terrible. Though I feel you got lucky. Maybe not. Doomfletcher's a lot more accessible these days. All right, so I want suffixes can't be changed because I don't want it to take off a suffix by mistake. What this is going to do is it's going to take off a modifier and add +1 all lightning skill gems. I do not think your goal should ever be to reproduce the complexity of PoE Ilya. That is a task that no one can do with a new game. All right, add a new lightning modifier, remove a random modifier. It will remove a prefix because the suffixes cannot be changed. Like that. And now I have a +1 lightning spell skill gem. Life. Definitely gonna keep clicking until I run out of... oh, I'm out of alks. All right, time to buy more alks. Do I buy a divine worth of alchemies? How much is that? 2,801. No, I do not buy a divine worth of alchemies, even though I will probably use them. I buy it in chaos, because that's an amount I can actually measure. Yes, like 600 for 32C. I do not think this is either an Ellie kit or lightning tendril shield, because I'm pretty sure most lightning tendril players are not going to be rich enough to afford this item. But for example, this works really well for a rage build using... Oh, there's so many things that a rage build could use this for. Like, a good example of this would be Spark. In fact, this is probably a Spark shield. How can I get myself to remove such a nice number? Just by knowing that if I put 7-0 there, more people will pay for it. How do I go through so many alks? Rolling to 70 life at 4 alks per. That's the thing with crafting for off-meta stuff. A lot of people do not have a lot of money. And so you either get one person who's mega rich and really into that, or you craft for something more meta, like Spark, and get a bunch of people who are moderately rich and are likely to buy it. As for a price, oh, let's look. So it's 70 max life, plus 1 to level of all lightning spell skill gems, increased lightning damage, and all maximum resistances. And it's 100 lightning spell, or sorry, 100. The cheapest one is 22 divine orbs. And the suffixes on it are arguably worse than mine. The prefixes are better because it has 100 life. The next cheapest, which is arguably much more similar to mine, actually, is listed for 80 divines. So I'm probably going to price it around 22 divines. And this is also why I absolutely need it to have the 70 life. So it shows up ahead of a bunch with 60. Actually, what if one's with 60? Oh, there are none. So I guess I can keep it at 69. Never mind. There's no competition for my shield. This is also why I was just casually Exalt annulling it. How much went into making it? I think this base I got for fairly cheap, like 3-ish. Actually, no, I think it was less than 3 divines. I used about 1 divine of Exalt annuls. I used 1 wild bristle matron. And I don't know how many alts or alks I used, but let's just say 4 divines in total. Let's just go 4 divines in total, because I think it was only like 2 divines for the base. Maybe less. Maybe 1 divine for the base. Could be 5 divines. Either way, nowhere near what this item will sell for when it sells, and this will sell. You can do that with minion damage. No, you can't do it with minion damage. Never mind. You can do this with any other typed damage but fizz or minion, though. So fire, cold, lightning, chaos. Yeah, crafting, really powerful. What was the next most popular thing? Next most popular thing was ward gear. All right, let's do a little ward looping, or ward loop crafting, I should say. We're going back to our old friend here, fossils. And the goal is to get good prefixes and then craft the suffixes with Eldritch. Oh, I need to make that one rare. I did a dedicated video on word crafting a while ago. Why so much life regen? Because that's what it hit. No particular reason other than it's a generically useful stat that many builds will appreciate. Unfortunately, Restoration of Ward is a dead stat. I only care about the prefixes, so the only number that I need to look at is the number at the top, so the 376 or the 220. And it should obviously be much higher than, well, 376 or 220. All right, well, I hope you feel better soon, Divine. And I also hope I make enough money off of this to make the Monopoly Man look poor, but even if I don't, as long as it's a good stream that people enjoy and hopefully rewatch and share with their friends, then it was all worth it. 435, I think that's too low, right? Yeah, it's too... Oh, wow, it's even missing a prefix. 408, that's more like it. That's much more like it. T2, T2, T6. I'm going to put that aside for a second and see if it's even worth anything. Probably not. Because the bases here are more expensive than a lot of the stuff that I did before. All right. In bad news, I'm running out of fossils and resonators. In good news, it's really easy to bulk buy both fossils and resonators. So I'm going to do that. I'm glad you're finding it helpful. That's 100% the goal. And if this stream does well, there's a very high chance that I'll do more in the future with another random assortment of items. Because it doesn't make that much sense to just craft the same thing over and over again. So there's going to be more in the future if it does well. I've still got belts, gloves, and quivers to do. I might do some more of this stuff. Depends on the time and all that. I bought a lot of extra bases just to be prepared. Someone should answer from that. Perfect. Next up, I'll get a bunch of resonators. That's 250. Unfortunately, you do kind of have to just spam people. My flasks are filling via Pathfinder magic. This node right here. Flasks gain 3 charges every 3 seconds. As for how to craft boots for Flicker Strike, what stats do you want on them? Because I don't know what boots for Flicker Strike mean. Do I vol any of the items I craft? Yes, definitely. I mean, that is how they're filling in Hideout. There are other things that go into how they have 100% uptime, but filling in Hideout is a lot simpler. Also, you should never be using 40 charge flasks with a setup like this. Ever. Definitely don't do that. 35 is pushing it. Even 28, like Progenesis, is pushing it. Why would you use a silver flask with a setup like this? No. That's a terrible idea. It takes so much investment to fill it, and then that investment is completely wasted on the rest of your character. Just put on a silver flask while mapping and swap to something else while bossing. Anyone who is trying to fill permanent silver flasks on bosses is wasting way too much currency, because it takes a huge investment, like you mentioned, to get the 40 flask charges a second, whereas here it's 21, 20, 20, and 28, and 28 is, as I said, pushing it. I really don't have any issue. I just message 4 or 5 people and always get an answer. Like, that only took a couple of seconds. It's really not that bad. Yes, the Progenesis is falling off because I don't need 100% uptime on bosses. Because why would I fight bosses? I mean, okay, I did a couple times for a video, but bosses aren't even enjoyable content, so 440 is too low. So I never tuned it around 100% uptime with 0 flasks from killing monsters. I mean, okay, there are builds where you want to fight bosses, but on this build, you really shouldn't just be sitting in bosses all day. It's a massive waste of this build's potential. Especially because the boss fights will take like 30 seconds to a minute per phase, as opposed to a dedicated boss killer where it takes 3 seconds and then you get one shot while the boss is immune and you just portal hop your way through the encounter, which is terrible boss design, by the way. Who puts a Quicksilver in the second slot? Someone who never actually hits their Quicksilver. And that, Regatta, is exactly why I do not advise fighting bosses in general. Oh, Shotokan, you have no idea. Literally, the only reason why I killed Uber Shaper and Uber Eater last night was because otherwise there would be that one guy who says that the Poison Spark character that they're playing to be an insane mapper has to be able to do Uber bosses. And that way I can say in the footage, well, look, it did an Uber boss. All-rounder builds are a great way to make currency. It's a matter of what you do with the all-rounder builds that makes the difference. killing uber bosses is not something that you should be doing for an all-rounder build, because the uber boss market is adjusted to the people who play ZHP builds and one-shot the boss. They can kill it much faster than you can. You know what? I'm going to slam this after blocking accuracy. A lot of these builds use crystallized omniscience. So the intelligence is a valuable role here, even if the ward isn't that good. 30% res. What would I call a delve build? I'm really out of the loop as to what qualifies as a delve build. But a deep delve build, absurdly tanky, absurdly high DPS. And no, you don't really need good bossing by usual PoE bossing for delve. Because if you're tanky enough to survive the rest of a delve, you are tanky enough to survive the bosses these days. So 450 with 55 intelligence and 60 total Ellie res. I may have wasted a slam there. So it looks like I could sell it for a decent amount, but I'm going to roll over it. I should not have slammed that. I needed to hit like T1 with that low ward value. Ward value trumps all. Oh well, that is me sciencing so you don't have to with your currency. The thing is, I almost exclusively play all-rounders. I almost never play builds that can only do one thing. Okay, now that I will slam. Oh, it hit life. Glass cannon builds stopped becoming the meta when they reworked Delve. So I only care about not annulling the T1 ward. Cool. Stop putting life back on. I don't want garbage life rolls. At least make it a good life roll, because a good life roll will increase the value. You know, my luck for annulling stuff off right now is unreal. Still garbage life roll. All right, that killed the suffix, and it's dead. This is a Poison Spark Pathfinder, correct? 542. There we go. That's what I wanted. Ilya, I really think most of your problems with PoE are a matter of perspective, and you are going to continue to run into those problems until you change it. And there's nothing that GGG can do because the problem is all in your head. All right, so now we have a really solid overall item. Not quite perfect, but really darn good. But we need suffixes. So, Lesser Eldritch Ichor. Eldritch Chaos Orb, because the current suffixes are unsalvageable. Okay. We've got one good one, one bad one. We now have one good one. You can ask. I won't necessarily be able to give a guaranteed answer, but I can at least give you some pointers on how to find out. Oh, just slam T1 intelligence. Well, this is definitely a sellable item now. Oh my god, just slam T1 intelligence, forehead. As you may have noticed, if you are very cavalier with annulling and slamming items, you get a lot of really good outcomes. This has always been the case. Even when exalts were 200C each, you were always able to super profitably annul and slam medium to high value items. In fact, it was often more profitable back then because more people didn't do it. What do I even want on this? Cast speed? No, it's ward loop. Damage to spells, vulnerability, curse, lightning, recoup. Oh, I should have. No, but GNC is sponsoring the stream. Damage per power, maybe I should have kept. Despair curse. I'm glad you're enjoying your first full league. Fizz damage recouped, but most people take chaos. LE weak curse effect. Okay, there we go. Off the top of my head, I believe they take into account the beast's level, which means they would be better if you are trying to slam a low-level modifier. Recoup is good on Word Loop, but Recoup is only good from damage you're going to be taking, which is usually chaos. So damage from hits recouped his life, very good. Physical damage from hits, not good. Or at least not as good. If he was taking this chaos, maybe I should have done. Spell damage. You know what? There we go. That is a Word Loop helmet. So, stats. 500 int, or sorry, 500 ward. Imagine if it had 500 int. 80 total res, 55 int. The cheapest better one is 6 divines, and then from there, the price jumps to 14 divines for even better. So, I'm just going to put it up for 5.9 divines. Now, people have been acting in really bad faith with that kind of stuff, Devil, so I'm definitely not doing anything like that. That would just be a pain for me to then have to moderate and ban all the people who aren't capable of being respectful and have no sense of humor. You know, grats on the drops. And then just lower a few prices here. So there's also this one, which is 80% res, 400 ward on gloves. I have no idea if this is worth anything or not. Let's see. About 2 divines. It jumps to 4 pretty quick. And I do have a pretty good faster restoration of ward. I have extra bases, so you know what? Let's try it. I have no idea if this is actually something that people want or not, though. Fire exposure. Are there fire word loopers? Probably. Chaos.multi. I don't think that quite works. Shocks you inflict spread. Extinguish on hit might have been okay, actually. Damage per... You know what? That's fine. That's the thing, though. There shouldn't be easy ways to access Divine Flesh. Okay, so is this worth anything? It is absolutely worth something. Yes. So even for the prefixes alone, that is worth quite a lot of currency, because those are nearly perfect word prefixes. Now for the suffixes, what you might have to do is recraft the suffixes with a Eater of Worlds dominated, I guess, item? Yeah, I guess item's right there. But that is absolutely worth money. I would guess when finished, it's probably, if this is like 5 to 6, it's probably 8 to 10, maybe more. So I am using dense fossils for defense modifiers because word has the defense tag. Though there is another interesting thing you can do with the boots, which I'm trying to remember the exact combo. I believe I need these. Oh, I should throw these at one of the other bases quickly. Wait, do I have any other fun bases? Oh yeah, I have these. You can also throw fun stuff at something like this. Quick bonus item here. $23, not quite good enough. Yes, it is the same if you want to craft ES gloves, which I'm gonna hopefully get. All right, it's 20 quality, whatever. Could always finish it a different way. Also, probably won't hit high enough. That's T2. I think I can only afford to stop at T1 here. Yeah, there's a lot of cool flask tech. I was testing, I guess I'd call it the Dan tech with Replica Sorrow of a Divine a bit. I hated it. I hated the Mahuxolotls plus Fourth Vow plus Replica Sorrow of a Divine. So now I'm selling this because this is very shiny. But I just didn't like having to hit my flask constantly all the time. Hey, how's it going, Zeta? We're doing some live crafting demonstrations. Now for this one, I'm doing shuddering fossils combined with dense fossils. Dense is for defenses and shuddering is for speed, i.e. movement speed and ward. Yes, I had to hit one of my flasks. No, not the replica, the life flask. Replica Sorrow of a Divine. I think I still have it here. Yeah, so life recovery from flasks also applies to energy shield during effect. What this means is you constantly trigger the Eternal Sacrifice from your Mahuxolotls. So you have the +5 all max res permanently. And you also have infinite energy shield, but it's constantly going from 0 to full to 0 to full to 0 to full. So if it ever falls off, your energy shield just goes away and you can't use any skills, which is a huge pain, and I hated it. So that already hit ward movement speed. Not good rolls, but already ward movement speed. And again, I only care about the prefixes here. If that % increase ward was flat ward, that would be so much higher. That's unfortunate. It is not rolling flat here. I mean, using life tap support would have helped for some skills, but I don't have links to life tap everything. Oh, if that was higher tier. Wait, it has an open prefix. Wait a minute. Okay, craft any suffix modifier at all. Now I'm just going to hit T1 here. It's going to be fine. Damn. Not T1. Boots are tricky to craft relative to other things. You can also, there's another way to craft these, which is even more random, but can give some really cool results, which is Harvest Reforged Speed. Case in point, randomness and cool results. So let's call it good on the word crafting stuff for now, because I want to try to make a couple of quivers as well. So this is going to be Essence of Torment, and my goal is to craft for a lightning arrow build. So to start off with, what do you want? You want lightning damage to attacks. Ideally, you also want an open suffix or attack speed, and +1 arrow. Though there's other good modifiers that aren't +1 arrow that could make this very sellable. Okay, well, or I just hit +1 arrow. So, yeah, here's the problem. The suffixes are full, which is a bit annoying. There's two ways to approach this. There's my base is expensive, and I need this to be good. Or there's the, my base is cheap and I need this to be anything. If your base is cheap and you need this to be anything, you craft life and just call it good. If it needs to be expensive, you need to open up a suffix with either suffix to prefix or an annul. I'm going to price check this though, because I'm pretty sure this base was only 1 divine. This isn't damage with bows, but it is still really high flat cold damage. So for something like this base, even with these mediocre stats, the rough equivalent items are 4 or 5 divines. So I'm just going to call this one good. Oh, I'm out of... Right, I never bought Alks. God damn it. I forgot to buy Alks. Why did you let me get distracted, chat? Ilya, if you keep going with this, I'm going to time you out. I can only take so much of someone sitting there being bitter for an entire stream, and you've probably used up a year's worth of my tolerance for it. Oh, I absolutely can blame you, Zeta. How dare you distract me? You in particular. Well, don't worry, Flob. You'll be able to look back on this later and double check what I did. Thank you for the reminder to update my filter. I still haven't done it from the other day, and I'm still probably not going to do it for a while. I'm hoping someday I find someone who's just interested in making filters for me, because I'm so bad at that stuff. Okay. Which one? This was the 5C one. Okay. Who likes making filters here? Oh. Right, this fun bug. Visit hideout. That's how you get around that bug, usually. No? Oh, okay. Usually... Yeah, see, people wanted me to use custom different sounds. I was like, yeah... I don't even know how to add custom sounds. Never mind something that sounds familiar enough that I'd actually remember it. Because odds are that if I ever change my sounds, I'm not remembering what is what, and I'll miss a really important item. Yeah, I like downloading filters too. But unfortunately, it's very rare for a filter to have everything I want. So I usually make my own, and then I just don't maintain it halfway through the league. Neversync does like making filters. Oh, nice. Yeah, I can imagine a lot would be tied up in bases with a strength stacker. All right, so let's do something a little bit different. This time, we're going to roll on the Feathered Arrow Quiver, which means the intended item is for Tornado Shot. Means projectile speed is good, and you must have additional arrow. All right, thanks for stopping by, and don't worry, the VOD will be up so you can catch up with everything else. It's always the goal to sell your gear for more than it costs you to craft it. Won't always happen, but it should happen more often than not. Also, because I just hit the +1 arrow, I'm kind of tempted to move on from quivers if I use up all my stuff and don't hit it again. Just for now. We can always circle back a little bit later. Okay. So the last thing that I haven't done here is one of the most accessible crafts in the game, which is why I really want to get to it before it gets too much later, because I know people will have to go to bed soon. I know a lot of my audience is in Europe, and some of them, or some people, that is, generally start filtering out right about now. So I want to get this last thing out there for everyone who is here. And for anyone who does have to go, don't worry about it. You will be able to catch Vavad. Okay, scoured all these. I could make explode totem quivers, but I don't know how much of a market there is for those. As popular as explode totem is, I don't know how many people are going to pay for a quiver or pay a significant amount, as opposed to just throwing on whatever junk they happen to pick up off the floor. Why no camera? Because I would have to constantly move it around to keep it from overlapping on important stuff. Especially for crafting streams like this, it is an unneeded distraction. Don't worry, you can imagine it. And also, my face wouldn't change all that much when I get them. Yeah, Explode Totem players are generally playing it because they're looking for a cheap build. So crafting mid to high tier items for that build isn't going to be that effective. If that life was a little bit higher, you know what? All we're doing is getting an annul. So we either annul the stun block or we brick the item. Oh, cool. We annulled the stun block. This is just how to craft generic Stygian vises. The answer is you always just annul the stun block. It has strength, which is good. The rest of the rules are mediocre, so we're going to keep going. I know, you know what? No, I could try to annul the stun block again. Let's do it. All right, it's dead. No good prefixes, unfortunately. It does have strength, which would inflate the life. That would get to like 80 life? Sure. Yeah, because explosive totems don't need good gear to feel good, people aren't as incentivized to pay out for perfect gear. Whereas something like Word Loop, baseline Word Loop is trash. You do not want to ever play baseline Word Loop. Perfect gear Word Loop is incredible. So people will absolutely pay out for good Word Loop gear because it makes a meaningful difference that you can feel. Yep, I'm sure. I just think the whole streamer overreacting to stuff thing is kind of dumb and overplayed. So I don't do it. There's things that I would get excited over. Not with these items. Huh. I could definitely save this. I just have to annul the strength off. Okay, I still just have to annul the strength off. Easy. Now, we slam on a good suffix. Okay, now we prefix to suffix it. I need more linkses. Yeah, cheap word loop is basically unplayable. Exactly. And knowing stuff like that If a build is super popular like RF, then there's a wide market for both cheap and expensive. Explodey Totem is weird because most of the investment goes into a couple items.
The first ones are watching Survivor.
I kind of miss Catalyst working on weight, but at the same time, the odds were so low that I actually prefer not having to recatalyze things. Flash Charges Gained was a good hit. Oh well. I mean, you definitely didn't see my cast on crit Forbidden Right during Sentinel League. I make no guarantee that my builds are cheap. Some of them are. Some of them aren't. Like this one, I don't think it's super cheap. We're talking like 12 divines, 3, so that's 15. 40, so that's 65. 30-ish? 95? 7? 8? I don't know. Let's just go with 100 something. Dirt cheap, made for pennies. Huge pain to get. Good luck. Fairly cheap. Fairly cheap. 12 divines, let's say. 30 divines. I don't know. I probably have 200 divines in gear. That's with me just making up random prices for half of that, though. Oh, I don't know what you mean by cheap, then. Ooh. Ooh, yes. Hit more of those, please, essences. I thought you meant cheap builds because a lot of the builds I've made in recent leagues haven't been that expensive. But also, I'm not the sort of person who limits himself to a specific budget. Ooh, there we go. Now the essences are being nice to me. One very important thing when you're rolling essences like this, never just roll once. Roll a bunch. Yeah, something like, for this roll anyway. It might be cheaper if you don't need the increased duration, but increased duration helps me maintain uptime. And it's negative 35 to positive 35. I'm at 18%, so I'm upper 75%. I think I paid around 30 for this. Maybe it was less, actually. Maybe it was like 26. Either way, yes, it's expensive, and yes, it's worth it. Yeah, this is the most gambling-like because you have the least control. But there's also so many good outcomes. Oh, that would be a great motto for me. Budgets are for poor people. And then everyone gets really angry at me. For clarity, I'm joking there. Put down your pitchforks.
Prove to the first ones you are worthy, Exile.
But I don't build around budgets.
The ritual is complete.
It's sometimes it works on a budget, and that's cool. And sometimes it doesn't. That's also cool. Speaking of, that's now a sellable belt. It depends on what you're using it for. In my case, I actually want it a little higher. I actually want like 25% increased duration. There is something fun that you can do with these, though, if they're good. So let's do a little price checking to decide if these are actually worth further investment. I know this first one won't be. T1 Chaos Res, 60-ish life, 30 flask duration, 40 res. And yes, the 40 res is important. There's one for 1.5 divines. Sure. If it sells for 1, that's fine. If it sells for 150C, that's still fine. Next up, this one. This one has 40 res, the 34 chaos res, no flask mod, and 80 life. it's probably not worth very much. It is worth about 60C. So we roll over this. Oh, I guess I'm not factoring in strength here, which is a valuable stat that I should not ignore. It's still 60C. We roll over this. Yep, Conqueror exalts. Before I do that, though, let's take care of his belt. Increased flask charges gained is good, but not good enough. The best thing you can do for crafting is think about investment costs to make the items versus how many successes you will get per unit of currency spent versus total market for the items. Okay, well, just hit triple T1 suffixes in T3 life. Hell yes. That's now a good one. That goes over here. I don't think that's sad at all. I think that's totally fine. Why would that be sad? This one's worth maybe 1.4 divines. Probably not a ton, because it's missing one suffix. I could do the fun annul a suffix thing, though. But because it cost me so little to make, instead, I'm going to do the craft wet on it and hope bow build buys it, because bow builds often need strength. And life and res is generically good. 1.4 divines for you. It should be noted, if you're selling high-end items, which is mostly what I put in this tab, it will take a while to sell. As I keep putting up these Stygians, it would not surprise me if some people start messaging me for them. Awakener's Orbs. So this is 90 life, 70 Ellie, 30 chaos. It's worth about a divine. So I'm going to put it up for a divine. These are also some old belts that I made that I should probably lower the price on, to be honest. All right, these old belts get to live here now. Then flask charges gained, chaos res, 40% res. With the popularity of Pathfinder, this is absolutely something that someone will value. I want the 20% here for 40 total. Then this thing's just godly. Increased damage. So this, with the flask charges gained, $40 Ellie, 90. Oh, right. We're already in territory of there aren't very many online. Offline, there's one for 5 and one for 10 divines. So now we're in the fun, happy times of making the items even better. Yes, these are Hunter Slams. Both of these are Hunter Slams. Okay, I'm going to do this and then invite the other guy in just a second. Cut and go. Well, I can do one Hunter Slam while I wait on this one. So there's an open prefix. The prefix outcomes are flask charge on crit, which is good, percent life, which is good, and chaos damage, which is good. I do not recommend any global channels at all. I haven't been in global chat for a very long time. And I feel like global chat is just like micro Reddit, but less toxic and still pretty toxic. Just hit increased max life, chat. Just hit the best possible outcome with a perfect roll. So this is now easily 10 divines, I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm going to go with this is easily 10 divines and just put it up for that. I don't know. You know what? Let's go big. 14. Yeah, 14. This is Pathfinder League. And this one, chaos damage. All right, Toxic Rain players, where you at? I've got a belt for you. It's a real shiny belt. I think that's T1, right? Yeah, T1 with a double damage prefixes. So it looks like this one only about 4 or 5 divines. Actually, the 4 or 5 divine ones are not as good because they don't have the crafted prefix. There's nothing up with the crafted double damage or the crafted second damage prefix. So you know what? Let's try 8 divines. Pick a random price and someone may actually buy it. I think that's at least one demonstration of that. So now we have the gloves. And gloves have a wide variety of good outcomes. As I remember, these were about half a divine per base, except for this one, which I forget what it was, but we're going to do this one first. Try to get Chaos Res and another good suffix on a fractured attack speed base. Prefixes. I don't want to craft something, so this. 41 dex. Not good enough. 35 strength, not good enough. I don't really care about prefixes here. I only really care about suffixes, and I don't think I should slam them, honestly. Lightning res, but not good enough. It is 85, so I can get T1 resistances. I'm looking for things like T1 dex, T1 strength. Life regeneration rate would have to be better, though. T1 life regen. T1 resistance. Things that people will use for builds that have attack speed as a valued stat. Oh, that's very close. That's real close. That dexterity was a little higher. See, when I told the game a little higher, I didn't mean within the same tier. God damn it. I meant at least tier 2. Come on, game. You should have known that. I mean, if anyone wanted proof that Chris isn't in fact watching the stream, there's proof that Chris isn't watching the stream. Oh, there we go. Okay. I was about to point out that 0.5 div was more than that, but that's fine. Let's see. Lightning res. Accuracy is also good. Omni builds need accuracy somewhere. Nothing on that. I guess time to use some of the new divines to buy more essences. Wait. I don't have spite. Damn. I will buy the cheaper of Essence of Spite and Essence of Envy. Apparently, Spite is cheaper. So, give me all of your Spite essences, please. There we go. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I thought I saw the invite thing. And if a price for the Spite essences goes below... Ah, there we go. Perfect. I was going to say goes below Envy. I'll just swap to Envy. Right now, I am crafting Fractured Attack Speed Omni Gloves. So a build with Crystallized Omniscience will want to use these. And they are... I have no idea how much this base was. I'm pretty sure I picked it up cheaply while helping someone else with crafting. So you're finishing a bow. It has an open prefix and an open suffix, 2 high LE stats, +2 bow. When you say +2 bow, do you mean +2 arrows? If so, I can think of 2 ways to do it. One is crafting the +2 bow, or sorry, crafting the prefix and slamming. Another way is crafting either prefixes can't be changed or suffixes can't be changed, and slamming it with ashling and hoping it removes the metacraft rather than the good mod and gives you something better. If it is a fractured +2 arrow base, personally, that's what I would do because that's a significant investment and you want something really good. If it is not fractured, then I would go with the craft fire as a prefix and slam and hope for a good suffix. Best way to craft a good crystal belt, dense fossils or awakener's orbs. Because if awakener's orbs are 30C each, it might be better to just triangle a bunch of belts together, to be honest. You can go Shaper plus Crusader. I think I need T1 Dex? Or can T1 Dex not roll here? So gloves, dexterity, 56 to 60. I'm pretty sure that the odds of that aren't that abysmal. Let's find out. To Craft of Exile. Gloves, strength, crafting method, essence of spite. Fractured item, yes. And the fracture, I'm just going to put it as T1 attack speed. It doesn't matter that it's essence attack speed. And it is 1 in 100 essences to hit T1 dex. What is this worth? That's the other question. Whatever mods on each is you don't need CDR, it would be... I should have done that before swapping. I know one of them's increased energy shield. And I forget what the other is. One of them is increased maximum energy shield as a Crusader prefix. It goes up to 15%. And the other is increased energy shield from equipped body armor, assuming that you're not using something like Skin of the Lords, which I probably should have asked about. Because if you're using Skin of the Lords, you would not want to go with Shaper there. Instead, I think you'd want to go with just Crusader for increased maximum energy shield and T1 ES. Hey, welcome. So I can fix the suffix or the prefixes later. All I care about is if it's 100 versus like 105, if that actually matters. I'll just assume 80 life and 16 attack speed. So 100 is pretty common. What about at 105? At 105, we're still only at 1 divine for more common oh, I see why. Because I forgot that you can get implicit attack speed and put junk in. But TLDR, I think I need at least 110 before it gets valuable. So we're going for T1 here. Do you have a specific Marauder build in mind? Marauder is a pretty broad question. PoE Ninja and just having a good knowledge of builds. But PoE Ninja is a great tool for figuring out what other people are doing. Oh, there we go. 58 plus 51. Damn, it's not quite over the 110 threshold. Oh, well, that could be fixed later with a Divine Orb. That's a double T1 we're looking for. And so now I go over here and don't have any exotic currency to reroll the prefixes with. All right. How much? How much is it? Well, I do have one, but that's worth too much to waste on something like this. Sure, I'll go with a medium tier one. If you want to know more about what people are playing or what sort of items builds are using, I suggest checking out my meta report series. For the past 3 weeks, I've done 3 meta reports looking at different aspects of builds based off of PoE Ninja. Cool. Only in PoE can someone have a name like that and you just have a chill trade interaction with them and they don't start talking to you about weird stuff. So now I want to reroll the prefixes to get rid of a fizz and hopefully get something good. I can always craft life. But I'm looking for, ideally, something a little bit better. I don't know if I should have used those, but I had those. Now I'm going to figure out if it's actually worth using those. How much are Eldritch Chaos? They are 8 to a Divine, so no, it was not worth using those. Good to know. Eldritch Exalts are around 15 to a Divine, and Eldritch Annuls are 9 to a Divine. So I should have been Exalt annulling with blockers. Are you using breaches for the breach rewards, or are you using them as monster generators? Because I've heard good things from everyone who's tried to use them as monster generators, and bad things from everyone who's tried to use them for breach rewards. Which doesn't really make them good or bad, it makes them specific. Which is a little unfortunate. So first, I annul here. Like so. Then I block. I think I actually want to block life because I want to slam on hybrid. Nope. This is where we do the dance of getting rid of junk repeatedly. You know, like the shield that survived everything somehow. 86. Okay, I'll take 86% increased armor. 84 Tujin down with 16. Yeah. You will have a lot of money after you use all the currencies. And no, you should not sell the currencies at all. That is a terrible idea, especially with Knights of the Sun, but also with Tujin. That will lose you so much money. Okay, remove crafted mod, annul off the cold to attacks. Yes, you use the expedition currency. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page with that. Fizz to attacks, garbage. Remove crafted mod. Annul. Annul again. Lightning. Why is it always low tier? If it hit high tier lightning to attacks or something, that would be good. That's why we're doing it this way. Okay, Gwenin is, yes. But also Gwenin logbooks aren't worth doing anyway. There's a lot of good outcomes from this. That was not one of them. No, use all the Knights of the Sun currency and all the Tujin currency. Still not one of them. I'm beginning to think that meta crafting this might have been more efficient. Or just using the Veiled Chaos. Or, yeah, Veiled Chaos is probably more efficient than this, but... oh well, I was trying to get fancy and was immediately punished for it. You know what? What if I did this instead? Nope. I'll try a few Eldritch Chaos here. The goal is to hit either Hybrid Life or high T1 to attacks, non-fizz. Because that's what Omni builds will value, and that's what will get people to pay a lot of currency. I'm honestly probably crafting this wrong because I didn't plan this part out. Okay, so randomize. Oh! Just hit it in one. There we go. This is valuable. Can you improve it somehow? Not easily, no. The unfortunate issue is that all you could do is put on aspect of a spider if you're using it, or slam a random suffix. Which I guess if either of those are improvements, then yes, you can easily improve it. If neither of those are improvements, then no. There we go. And now we just YOLO slam the last thing. 84% increased armor. I'll take it. Now, how much is this worth? I have no idea. Because this is now a double essence crafted item, which likely means a lot. The cheapest one that is worse, 4 divines. Then worse, 6 divines. Worse, 8 divines. We've got a bunch for 8 that are worse. The first one that is definitively better is 16. Essence resonators exist. Right here. That's an essence resonator. Right, damage per 100 strength, no. Projectiles pierce, no. Looking for something like increased effect of your marks and chance to intimidate or gain rage. Maybe attack speed. Okay, Essence Resonators exist exactly like you asked. Their drop rarity is 10 to 15 times rarer than Divine Orbs, meaning that they cost, on average, 15 Divine Orbs minimum. Because that's about the cost that would balance them. If even that, they might have to be 100 times rarer than Divines. Probably would have to be 100 times rarer, actually. So never mind, they cost 100 Divines. Because for some reason, when I said 10 to 15, I was thinking of the 2 essence one. The 3 essence one would have to be 100. So it'd be 10 to 15 for 2, or roughly 100 for 3, because those are the sort of costs that would balance that absolutely absurd level of power creep. You know what? Let's just leave it on suppress spell damage and roll the other one for now. Herald of Ash, Frenzy, okay, Intimidate. Back to rolling the other annoying one now. These are Omni Gloves, yes. Increased effect of your marks. There we go. We have now crafted some rather expensive Omni Gloves. In theory, I could also divine them to hopefully increase the Omni above 110, but that's an annoying prospect. I'm just going to leave that to a future owner. And I'm going to guess, because they're a fractured base, I'm going to say 19 divines. No idea what they're actually worth. And that's that demonstration. On the other hand, if you want to make a simpler pair of gloves that aren't like super Omni focused, let's do that. Okay, think of how much effort it takes to put 2 essence mods on an item. You can't think about it as T1 flat Ellie, though. You have to think about it as any 2 essence mods. And there are some essence mods that cannot be replaced. For example, you can get chance to avoid elemental ailments as a suffix and combine that with 58 intelligence on strength boots. Because of that, it has to be way better than hitting T1 with an essence. It has to be better than hitting 3 times T1. Oh, I don't have any more Essence of Envy. All right, let's go buy more Essence of Envy then. I'm sure they will get used. Yeah. You can't look at the base case where you focus on just one craft. You have to look at what's the worst abuse. That's why 15 divines might not even be expensive enough. Maybe it is 100 divines for 2 socket and rarer than a mirror for 3. Because you could then force 3 better than perfect suffixes every single time. Oh, and also you probably wouldn't be able to socket corrupted essences, because that would just be game breaking. All the crafting systems in Path of Exile can interact, and all of them do so in a way that aggregates power the more you abuse the interactions. Even just look at what I've crafted so far and the amount of power I get from just spamming essences versus essence into beast crafting into Conqueror slamming, or versus essence into Eldritch crafting, or versus essence into beast crafting, or essence into Veiled Chaos. There's exponential power gains there. Cool. I'm getting all of these. I will definitely use them on other bases. Okay, but you can't think of that. Also, flat T1 times 3 shouldn't be easy. That should still be super expensive. That should still be 100 divines. If your attitude is, how do I get things easily? You're going to fail 100% of the time in PoE, because that is not how PoE is set up. There's specific things that you can get easily because of loopholes in the economy, because people have knowledge gaps. But if everyone has the knowledge, then you will not get things easily. Okay. And also, there's no such thing as ethical crafting. All crafting is unethical. What I'm doing right now, unethical. See? I just hit T1 Chaos Res, life and accuracy. Is that ethical? Absolutely not. I have no idea what this is worth, but I will check later. All I know is it is absolutely worth more than it cost me to make that. Yay, evasion rating. All right, let's demonstrate a little more. I'm looking for something like T1 Dex, or T1 Res, or life and some other stuff, or accuracy or attack speed. And that's the other thing about crafting. Oh, or T1 life regen. The more you do it, the luckier you are. I'm super lucky because I do crafting a lot. Because it's not actually luck. It's about understanding ways that things come together. There we go. Another T1. I've made several RF Jug items so far, including a shield and a belt. But if you want to see more about dedicated crafting for RF Jug, I suggest checking out my RF Jug crafting video. If you have any specific questions about an item, I can also probably answer those. What else might I want to do here? I can also do Essence of Envy boots. So just put something like life on these, sell them off. 67. No, I'm out of, God damn it, I'm out of Alks again. Oh, don't worry. The VOD will go up after this, so you can always rewatch it later. All right, hit T1 Res there. That would be very metacraftable. I need to buy more alchemies for this, and I need to price check this. So we're going to do that in roughly that order. Accuracy rating. 300-ish. To life. 70-ish. Suppress spell damage. T1. 31 chaos res. Oh, I should probably do that on gloves, right? Because then I get shields that are very cheap. So the cheapest, 2 divines. Also, that gives me an idea. I crafted the wrong thing here. Damage during flask effect is more popular right now, which makes sense. So I just put these up for 1.9 divines. That's because the trade site itself can't tell the difference between a T1 and a fracture unless you specifically tell it to. ROG should not have fracture mod as a role. Is Fourth Vow only worth using if you have Divine Flesh? Absolutely. It is actively worthless if you don't have Divine Flesh. Increased damage with hits against chilled enemies. Do you mean as a glove mod? If so, it is impossible to craft it. That is a drop-only temple mod. No, Rog shouldn't have fracturing because fracturing orbs exist. You don't want Rog to compete with Harbinger. So, what's this fairly cheap one? Oh, looks like about 3 divines. Okay. I mean, I need to get more alks to be able to actually sell it because it needs 60 plus life. Highest possible resist ring in the most efficient way. Rog crafting, all resist suffixes, upgrade suffixes until you hit all T1. Rog is absolutely worth something. The easiest way to get 3 times T1 prefixes for LE damage on a bow is through Rog, just as an example. I don't think these boots are actually that worth it. T1 res is too common. Oh, no. All right, we have to annul, and we just have to hit the stun block, and it's dead. This is something else that you can do early on. Just throw currency at the wall and see what sticks. Like that. Perfect example. It's basically crafted life with T1 decks and chaos res. Decent Omni boots. A lot of these will collect dust for a couple days because I've priced it towards the high end. However, after, honestly, probably won't be a couple days. It'll probably be about a day. Then I'll start aggressively lowering prices. If you know how to rug, he is a major profit center throughout the league, yes. He is most effective at consistency early on. Later on, his consistency does go down, but it's not that he isn't still profitable. He's still very profitable. Why, out of everything that I've bought today, is alchemies the thing that is difficult? There we go. $37. Also, with a name like this, that has to be a bot. Sure, you can link me an item, and I can give some thoughts. Gonna just decline that. Oh yeah, I can make sure the life is higher now. To max life. Yes, thank you. 2.9. Who sells alchemies? Apparently people and or bots. I have no idea which, nor do I care. All I know is I got the alchemies, and now I can store them, and then spend them all later. Okay. You have got Omni Gloves. What do you do there? I would craft a prefix and consider those finished. I would not gamble to replace the increased armor. You already have T1 life, intelligence, dex, attack speed. I'd go for something like damage during flask effect or plus to AoE gems. What do I think those boots are worth? Whatever the price of 14% suppressed fracture is on an evasion intelligence base. So this is the wand that you don't know what to do with. You've got Fizz and Chaos. It's a pretty good Fizz wand. The prefixes are good. The suffixes are a mess. I feel like, honestly, it's probably better to keep crafting it and roll over that until you get better, more workable suffixes. because ideally you'd want to craft the suffixes with ashling. What crafts have sold the most? Stygian vises. Okay, so now suppress. Chaos res. My name in game is the same as my name everywhere else. And then a weighted sum for strength dex int. Yeah, I could see those being 11 divines. Is this a mirror item? No. Not even close to a mirror item. +3 lightning is good. T2 spell damage, not mirror worthy. T1 lightning dispels. That isn't +3/+2, so also not mirror worthy. Cast speed good, crit multi good. T2 crit dispels, not mirror worthy. If there aren't too many, there's definitely more listed. You aren't searching if they are dex int boots. You're searching two-toned specifically. Don't search two-toned. That base is worthless. Search any dex int boots with T1 suppress max rolled. So I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I have not seen anything anyone has done because I don't watch PoE content. Unless it's someone I personally know, I probably don't know what anyone in PoE has done. What should you do with that one? Socketed attacks have crit multi. Faster attacks. I don't know if that's really worth that much. Because I feel like anyone who wants socketed attacks wants a dual influence with 2 supported by, plus the crit multi. So that's probably a sell it as is for someone who wants to try to elevate the faster attacks and then awaken or orb something together. Chess piece. So you've got Explodey Life and another Fizz mod, and you've got socketed attacks. When you say what to do next, what do you need on it? Yeah, 1 divine sounds about right, Scoodle. And that's why I say sometimes it's the requirements for the base rather than the base. In the past, the base would have mattered, but now people will replace the implicits with Eldritch anyway, so it's just the attribute requirements that matter. Because in terms of this chess piece, that just looks like a finished item that you don't go anywhere with from here. I mean, maybe recraft the suffix, the strength and int if you don't need that. But anything else, you will make it worse rather than better by continuing to craft it. So these Omni boots with Fractured Suppress, there's a pair up that's very similar to this, a little better for 5 div. Offline, there's like 2 div. It's also better. 2.5, that's worse. 3.5, that's almost identical. Oh, you would have to recraft the entire chest piece to replace the Reflect Fizz. There's no way to safely get that mod off. So in that case, what I would do is I would start from scratch. I'm guessing that you awaken or orbed 2 chests together. For example, you could do Explode, Fizz taken as for prefixes, hope to hit life, and then force attack as a suffix. You'd lose the all Ellie res. but that would be a way to make a new one. How would I value that? Whatever the T2 fractured base is, because I don't think 6% RMR is high enough for most people to actually use. And T2, T4 armor is also, unfortunately, a bit on the low side. So I've got a bunch of essences still. What else can I throw them at? Go with a few more belts. Oh yeah, I didn't price this. Let's do 4.9. Let's do a few more belts and then see what we have. Because this is a very approachable craft that I think anyone can do. And I want to show just how consistent it is. It's also why I bought so many belts. Right now I'm looking for life, flask mods, good suffixes. This is an example of life and a good suffix. So now we go beastcraft it. We go prefix to suffix. I don't think I'm going to use a blocker here because I can't think of one that actually matters. Maybe a strength. If I get a low tier strength, I'm going to be sad, but it's a 1 in 3 to completely brick anyway, and then like a 9 in 10 to brick, so didn't get low tier strength. Did brick anyway. If you bought this for 9 divines, yes, you absolutely got scammed. If you were going to pay 9 divines for a chest piece, you would have been much better off buying a brass dome. I personally would not pay more than 1 or 2 divines for something like this, because this is a very quick, temporary, yes, I can use this for now, but it's not good for very long. A chest you know you will replace. So I guess the answer is try to sell it for 9 divines and hope that there is someone else who also doesn't know what it is worth who did not watch this stream. Because there's people out there who don't know what it's worth who may buy it off of you. Even if it is not worth that much. Oh, that's close. That's real close. T2 life regen's nice. Just needed a little more life on that or a little more res. That's because my main way of making currency is getting those profit margins. All right, I have to annul this at least once. And it's dead. If a fractured base is 7.5 divines, people are out of their minds. That's T2 chaos res. I mean, definitely sell it. But no one should be paying that much. Because if you want a good chest, if you're going to pay 7.5 divines, then you definitely want a better base than this. At 7.5 divines, you're almost better fracturing one yourself with a fracturing orb. Yeah. If people are selling it for that, they are out of their minds. Because you can take it... Oh, man. I'm half tempted to take this fracturing orb, roll a glorious plate quickly with essences, and see if I can get a cheeky fracture and sell it. Because at 4 mods, you can guarantee chaos res, RMR, strength, and or something else, and like armor or life. You can guarantee a no-fail fracture and make a profit, assuming they're all a similar margin. That is insane. It must be a side effect of Pox saying something like, use this in his guide. and a bunch of people are just blindly copying. See, so I need to annul the strength. And it's dead. Also, if you're new, don't worry about overpaying for something like that. It happens. Everyone at some point overpays for something, knowingly or unknowingly. Just from here, take it in stride. I think I have some essences. You know what? Let's put these away for now. Let's see what we can make here. Also, if you are losing money by a string of bricks, then you are not crafting the right way. You need to hedge your bets. So this is something like a glorious plate. Actually, let me see. I can't believe it. The fracture is in fact 5 to 7 divines. What the hell? Let's see if we can make a better chest piece. Yes, a fracturing orb is 5 divines. That's fair. If you've only started a couple weeks ago, knowing how to craft is hard. Oh, 6 divines. Okay. Good to know. I need to spend and get more fossils because you absolutely want to fossil this up first. How many can I get for a divine? I was going to wrap up here soon, but this will be one last special demonstration of an item. I'm going to have to be really careful, though, because this is the sort of thing where you can get in the hole and overpay massively if you are not paying attention. What else? All right, so fractured T1 armor is not particularly valuable. So that one's out. Everything else I've checked so far is in, which gives me 3 potentials. I wonder if strength is a good fracture or not. Nope, strength is a garbage fracture. Increased armor. Is incredibly valuable. Got it. By not going into things with expectations, Ilya, you have to not go into things with expectations. And the goal for this chess piece is something I can fracture. Also, the person selling fossils is not getting back to me, so let's message someone else. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people have a very bad first experience with PoE because they don't try to experiment at all when new. Even if you are new, you should experiment with crafting in a controlled manner. Something like using my RF crafting video and crafting yourself a belt. Yeah, I was checking the trade site to see which fractures were good. And the answer is a lot of them. All right, 19, not good enough. 26, not good enough. Nope. $29. I should go for 30 here. Yeah, the video covers a bunch of common RF crafting items, including a couple of theories on things that I didn't actually make. Okay, so now we go Essence of Loathing. The goal is to hit other good mods that we could sell and fracture. And it could be that we actually don't hit something that's worth fracturing, but do hit something that's worth selling. That's another very likely outcome. Like, this is really close to being sellable. Popular endgame builds that are consistently played by rich players. Cast on, crit, and ward loop. Also, crystallized omniscience. The keybind for that is shift plus click. That is almost a fracturing base. Oh, fizz reduction. That would also be a good one. I'm just looking for a good overall item here. If I get a good fracturing base, I will fracture it. And if I don't, I will sell it as is. That is also almost as sellable as is. Not all bow builds are played by rich people. Ooh. Ooh, do I try? This takes off a fire res. Okay. So how much would it be if I fractured this base? It is 9 RMR, unfortunately. Oh, it would be worth absolutely nothing because it might hit the life, which is not very much in demand. Okay, but what if I didn't fracture it? What if I just sold it as is? Because that's the other outcome here. The other outcome is you just sell this. Remember, the Glorious Plate base that we're rolling on was 5 chaos. I put more into it in fossils. I don't really care. Maximum life. It's going to be almost 2,000 armor. RMR of skills. There's one for 2.5 divines that is similar. And then there's one for 6 divines that is better. So TLDR, I'm going to slam this a little bit because I can't see anything that makes it worse in a slam. Except, I'm pretty sure if I slam a prefix, that makes it worse. But I can't see any suffixes that make it worse. Oh, fizz damage reduction. Oh. That's definitely better. Why don't I try on a 6-link one? Because 6-link ones are actually not that cheap. A 6-link one is 2.5 divines. Wait, no, sorry. 3 divines. Because people have already rolled most of a 6-link ones. And 6-linking it afterwards is trivial. It's like 2 divines to 6-link it. I don't feel like paying an extra divine just to save myself 2 trades later. Apparently I need more exalts though, which is a little bit unfortunate. So in terms of the making a better chest than what you were wearing, I don't think this is it for most people, but this is a very good item now. And that someone is absolutely going to be very happy to purchase. Hey, Vision has been paying me in droves today. Don't you complain about Vision. It's been making me so much money. I need to buy more essences too. We'll do that after I get the exalts. People meme on it, but the Vision is profitable, especially when other people don't slam stuff. This is where I look up the price of Deafening Loathing and get sad. Oh, yeah, I'm getting sad now. They're fairly expensive. Let's see. Yes, mission failed successfully. Now we slam it again. 38 strength, hell yes. So is this perfect for an RF character? Kind of, yeah. Doesn't give chaos res, but it's really good. Too much effort, Ilya. It's a reasonable thing to swap it for good essences, but not specifically for loathing. And this, by the way, is why I said, oh, they're more expensive than I thought. I just realized maybe getting a 6-link isn't quite as bad as I thought because I could split it. And so I'd actually be getting 2 6-links for the price of 1. Do I have enough currency to do that still? Yeah, I'm almost out of currency because I've been crafting a lot and not selling much. I should definitely lower prices on a lot of stuff in here so that people actually start buying it. I mean, the whole point of this is to explain mastering the vision. Oh, very AFK. Oh, in terms of don't I want fizz taken from hits? Yes, that's exactly why I didn't want any sort of prefix open, because I wanted to see if the suffixes were things that I'd actually sell the item for. That if the first suffix I slammed was garbage, I was just going to roll over it. And whereas now I can easily craft it because I know that I have gotten something good. There we go. I don't know. Negotiable price. 5 divine orbs. All right. I'm tired of potentially buying a 6-link when no one is answering for it, when there's only one on the market, pretty much. So let's just buy another cheap one for 5C. I've always been a bigger fan about crafting imperfect items and selling for profit. Because you make so much currency doing that. Also, let me lower, speaking of lowering prices, let's go with 12 to, I'm just aggressively lowering things by about half a divine to a couple divines, depending on the price, to basically get rid of items that I no longer want. I was looking to buy a 6-link item level 86 glorious plate that I could then craft on as another demonstration. But first, increased armor, sure. Frenzy charge, no. Tempest shield, no. Cold damage, no. Endurance charge, no. Effect of your curses, no. Non-curse auras from skills, yeah, sure. Maximums would have been ideal, but whatever. So this goes here to signify that. Because earlier when I priced stuff, I priced it high because I didn't want to get a bunch of whispers while I was streaming. But now I'm wrapping up the stream and I'm almost out of currency, so I need some stuff to start selling, which means it is time to underprice rather than overprice. Okay, that I think is appropriately priced. Let's lower that by a lot. Let's really underprice it. Having a good idea of what people will buy is really important. Okay, this can go here. That one I'll keep because that's good enough. 3.9, 5.9, 8.9. Oh, good. Something's selling. Blood Notch, I forget what it should be. I think Visara of Divine's correct already. Now, I was just looking to buy another base for crafting, so it doesn't really matter too much. 5.4. 5.4. Going to go down to 4.4 on this. 12 on this. 7 on this. No, this is not appropriate for RF. Righteous Fire doesn't use ailments. I'll leave those at 19. That's an unusual item. 4.4. 2.4, and put these in the 1.4. The bargain bin, if you will. They're cheap to make, though, so that's totally fine. Now, back to this for one more demonstration. And again, the goal is something usable. It doesn't have to be perfect. If we get something good enough, we will 100% fracture it. And if we don't get something good enough, I'm going to see if these actually sell. Because if they actually sell, I can keep doing it until I hit something good enough to fracture. And if they don't actually sell, then, oh well, I wasted a couple divines. Yep, I do have some RF jewels sitting around somewhere in some tab, I think. I don't remember. Maybe they all sold by now. It's been a few... It's actually been like a week since I last played RF. Oh, 29? Cool. So now we're rolling with Loathing. Things to look for. Good resistances. Good prefixes. Things to not get. Junk affixes. The best way to know what people are buying is to learn the meta, yes. And if you want, you can check out my meta report that has a ton of information on that. So this is almost what you would want to fracture. It's just that I don't think the fire res is worth anything, and I don't know if the T1 armor is high enough rolled. Oh, almost. Not quite. Life regen cold res, T4 armor. Not quite good enough. T1, 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 essence, cold res, chaos res. I think this is sellable, assuming I can open up an affix. So we're going to try a YOLO and null here. Hoping to hit the cold res. Hit the chaos. All right. And now it's a 1 in 3 to turn the increased armor stun block recovery into an open prefix. Two in 3 to brick the item, and then we just roll over it. That's fine. 1 in 3 to make it something that someone will use. And if it hits something like chaos res now, even better. There was another enemy. There we go. Fire's bad, by the way. Okay. That's sellable. That is really, really sellable. No chaos res, but it's 50 Ellie res. And how much armor? Yes. Just yes. There's one that's up for sale with a life mod for 15 divines. Oh, part of me is tempted. No, that'd be stupid of me. I was going to say part of me is tempted to annul the cold res and try to fracture it, but that would just be stupidity. Especially if this is being recommended for Pox's RF. Plenty of people will want to buy it in its current state. Probably more so if I 6-linked it. Determination Aura Effect, that's a good one. Increased effective curses, max lightning, max... probably... I mean, if you want this for 2 divines, then you can absolutely have it for 2 divines. It did not cost me that much to make it. I also do stream on Twitch. The more educational, higher quality things will be here on YouTube. I don't feel like putting in effort today will be on Twitch. As a note, I should probably price check this and see how much it's actually worth. But to be completely honest with you, I have a bunch of items sitting around and I'm low on currency to keep crafting. So at this point, I'll kind of take any sale, even if I'm kind of ripping myself off. There's one offline for 8 divines. So I think the realistic value of this, as it is more like 4 to 6. But yeah, I will rip myself off and take 2. Oh, I should have grabbed the belt. I almost traded them. Just message me in game. Just promise me that you will actually use this instead of immediately flipping it for profit. Best way to craft Tailwind on energy shield based boots. Alt spam until you hit Tailwind. So helping a viewer is not actually a factor here because you're not allowed to give stuff to viewers for free. It's why I can't just be like, hey, I'll make a chest and give it to you. But I would sell this to anyone who is willing to give me 2 divines for it. I'd like just put it up, 2 divines, first person to message, because I just want it gone. In fact, honestly, this one should be more like 2 divines as well. I shouldn't be selling this for that much. These were cheap to make. They're not hard to make. And I just need them to be gotten rid of. If I hit something actually good and fractured it, that's where I'd be like, all right, I'm getting full market value out of this. Thank you and enjoy. This means I get to do it again. Make another one. Oh. Yep, energy shield base and just alt spam it. Best way to 6-link it. Go to the bench and use 1,500 fuses. If you're playing cast on crit and you need both tailwind and increased cooldown recovery rate, it is often better to purchase a pre-crafted item than make it yourself. But you'll have to price check that and compare to Craft of Exile. I don't know how I got sucked into making RF chests, but this is what we're doing now. We're making RF chests. At least until I run out of stuff here, and I don't know, until I run out of maybe another divine or two in essences. I blame chat. Now, I should have taken the 27. Oh, well. I'll just craft them a 29 first. Looking for usable mods that are coherent. Coherency is the key for items like this that have very high variance. Like right now, the fizz damage reduction, excellent. The increased mana reservation, excellent. The cold res, mediocre. I could craft life and potentially call this good. Or I could potentially slam it. Oh, okay, it's dead. Let's craft on both of these, go a little faster. Nope. No coherency here. Almost. Both of them a good suffix. Again, almost. I mean, what are you using to compare them to the market? Either an Exarch for something like this doesn't really come into it, because that would be when you're finishing it to wear and or making a high value one. So after I land the Fracture, that's where Eater or Exarch comes in. Otherwise, I'm putting basically no investment in and just grabbing whatever random mods I can. This one's almost good. See if we can annul. Cool. We annulled successfully. Not quite. Not quite. Life regen's good. RF jugs like that. T1, T2. Okay, okay. We can definitely slam that one. And since I don't need any blockers, like this, and if I get a good suffix, it's good. I would call that a usable suffix. Then for this one, it's prefix to suffix, using more linkses. I don't know how much this will be worth. Because it's not good enough to fully craft, I'm just going to throw random Eldritch currency at it until it's vaguely useful, like increased armor. Damage taken recouped as life. There we go. And then I put it with all the others that I'm pricing for 2 divines, because I'm spending so little on these that even if it goes for just 2 divines, it's fine. I forgot to click cats. Again, if you're doing it yourself, you should not be doing that. You should actually find out what it's worth. Probably more than 2 divines, to be fair.
Prove to
But
the first ones you are worthy, Exile.
it's fine. Science.
You are truly a survivor.
Okay, it's dead. Nope. If I can annul off the physical damage... I did. Uh-oh. What do I do with it now? Because now we go back to... No, this isn't good enough to fracture. So I would do a blocker and slam it. And hope for something good as either a suffix or a prefix. Blocker is going to be life because a bad life mod actively hurts the item. Alright. REOM is not what I was looking for. So now I just remove the fizz damage to melee attackers again. Oh, and it's dead. Cool. Not quite. Oh, wait a minute. That has an open suffix. That has a lot of life and solid, respectable armor. And what suffix do I want to craft? Because I guarantee you someone will want this with the 145 life it gives. Find out. So high armor with RMR and life. Oh. I was wondering why there were so many. It's because I mistyped. Oh, this one doesn't look super valuable. Interesting. Maybe that's not worth anything. Never mind. It needs just a couple more good mods. So, let's see if we can open up a suffix or a prefix. We opened up a suffix. I want to block strength and slam a better suffix. %60 res. Does 60% res and 130 life sell for anything? No, it doesn't. All right. So I need something like fizz reduction, do I? At this point, I'm kind of just doing this for fun. You should not be crafting this way. Well, I say that, but it's kind of working. I've gone to 70% res. Oh, here we go. 70% res does actually sell. Okay. I've successfully improved it to the point where it will probably sell for a couple divines. Hopefully. But it was never quite good enough to fracture. Nice. That's what you want to see. Life recovery rate, sure. Flask supplied, cold damage, unique enemy, max cold, effective curses, chaos damage, cold, arctic armor, lightning, warcry. Logbooks are very fun and also very profitable. Ooh, the flask charge gain might have been fine, actually. All right, priced 2 divines. I'm going to see if any of those sell. Didn't hit anything worth fracturing. I did hit some very good stuff, though. Then these are left. This should be a Hunter Slam. This should be a craft into Hunter. Probably just a craft, actually. But that's just an example of how you can leverage stuff and craft yourself versus buying. This is T1 strength. If I craft res on it, it's worth a couple divines. So sure. Fire and lightning. Come on, let's get T1 here. Or not T1. Top roll. Price it, I don't know. 2.9 divines. And then this one is 70%, right? No, 60%. Which probably isn't worth hunter slamming. So I just do increased damage, put it up for divine, should sell. And that has been a live crafting demonstration on how to make a wide variety of items in Path of Exile. If you enjoyed this, then the best way to let me know is by leaving a like on the video, getting subscribed, and then telling me in the comments. If you want to support the stream directly, then you can do so by purchasing something using my link from GNC, or more directly by either becoming a channel member, joining on Patreon, or just sharing the stream around, because the more people who see it, the more that AdSense pays me. With that said, thank you everyone who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed. I tried to go with a shotgun, bunch of different crafting item approach. I still have plenty of bases that I'll probably craft more off stream. But at this point, it would really just be repeats of what I've already done or things I've already explained. I just wanted to have extras in case I was unusually lucky. Unusually unlucky doesn't really matter in this case. I'd just be burning currency, but lucky meant I'd burn through bases faster. Kind of like how I did with the boots. That was definitely unusual luck. And I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. If I remember, I'll mention what some of the things that sold were and how quickly, but I'm probably going to forget. So, thank you again.